6 o'clock. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Titans training camp is officially upon us as day one of camp is today. Head coach Robert Saleh speaks to the media ahead of practice at 9:45. Then practice will begin at 10:15. Titans news yesterday, safety Imani Hooker was activated off the PUP list and he'll practice today. Meanwhile, right tackle J.C. Latham remains on the PUP list with a pectoral strain. A lot of NFL news yesterday across the board. Eagles signed two-time Pro Bowl selection Jalen Carter to a 4-year, $152 million extension worth up to $160 million, including $106 million guaranteed, making him the highest-paid defensive tackle in NFL history, overtaking the Titans' Jeffrey Simmons. Pro Bowl cornerback Denzel Ward and the Browns agreed to a 2-year, $62.2 million extension, makes him the highest-paid defensive back in NFL history. It's the second time he's done that in his career. For the Vikings, they signed veteran offensive tackle Brian O'Neill to a 4-year, $96 million contract extension. But for the Buccaneers, they are not giving quarterback Baker Mayfield an extension. He'll play the 2026 season on the final year of his current deal. And in Las Vegas, the Raiders head coach Clint Kubiak announced Tuesday that four-time Pro Bowl quarterback Kirk Cousins will be the starter over number 1 overall pick Fernando Mendoza as they begin training camp. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once, and your home for the Titans involves. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Good morning and welcome in to Ramon and Will live from the Vanderbilt Health Football Center for the very first time. Tennessee Titans training camp 2026 is here. The phone number is 615-737-1045. We are streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. There is a pale blue sky over us, 3 football fields right in front of us, and today the sounds of football are about to fill the air. He is the 11-year NFL veteran and Titans radio analyst Ramon Foster. My name is Will Bowling. Justin Hawkins back at Mission Control on this Wednesday, July the 29th. Football is back. Good morning.
We're so back this morning. It is day one. I'm about to post that for us and the show. Just in general, the fields will never be more perfect. Okay, the skies will never be more clear. The motivation will never be this high. We are back, man. Kirby's pointing to the sky behind us, man. We are fully loaded and ready to go with any kind of storyline that can come through training camp. And I guess it's just a day one of team building, Will, for chasing that sticky Lombardi for all 32 teams, man. What a time to be alive.
The first day of many today. As you look in front of these football fields and look at the seats as well, there's a lot of more seats and spots for fans to watch here than there has been in previous years. We love that, and we are excited to see a lot of you here over the next few weeks. As you look at these football fields, how does your anxiety or stress levels feel? Do you put yourself back into the 11 years of NFL training camps that you were a part of when you sit here and overlook this facility on a day like today?
I do. Well, the anxiety is there based upon what this means. This is all of your hopes and dreams if you've ever played football before right here in front of your face. It is the challenge of knowing what to do and how to perform every single day that creates that anxiety too. Like, that is the biggest part to me is, yeah, this is a football field that all of these guys have played numerous reps on, been playing football for all of these years for most of them. I don't know, like, I started playing football, my first official game was 7th grade, my 7th grade year. In middle school, some of these guys will walk out here today having played peewee football, flag football, and just little tykes all the way up to where now this is them being officially being able to chase their dreams. Like, OTAs was fine, minicamp was cool, but the veterans will be on this team that are on this team will just let the young guys know it's go time now. Like, push all the chips towards the middle of the table and figure out where you are on last cut day. Like, that to me is the anxiety part of not knowing if I can, will I make this team. So that is by far the most beautiful process of it all. And there'll be a guy that we probably don't speak of on day one today, you and I, that'll make this team and just have that dog mentality, man. And I hate even using that word, but that fighter's mentality that y'all not going to ever cut me. So I love what this provides for us and for those guys as well.
Well, you lived it, though, too. I mean, I don't think that's a cliche phrase for someone like you who is undrafted in this league and made it for 11 years and started a whole lot of football games in your life.
Listen, this is fun. Okay,
Good.
I'm giving all this philosophical life stuff. This right here, though, Will, is fun. And I don't know. I could have gone and done something else. You know what I'm saying? I got a college degree. I could have did something else. I wouldn't have done anything else different than this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love this, though. This is the beauty of why are we, and I say this as a loving, enduring term, this is what makes us sickos right here. Okay?
Absolutely.
I love this football stuff, man. So I'm excited we can officially start talking about it and actually seeing it in real time.
Well, we are excited to sit down with Tennessee Titans GM Mike Borgonzi today at 7:30. He and Robert Saleh addressed the media yesterday. You'll hear a lot of that as the show goes on today as well. The overall theme of the day, though, Ramon, to me was managing expectations and a long process that is really starting now. A lot of the themes of what you heard yesterday, and I imagine what we'll hear today, is that we are about to learn a lot about this football team. And while minicamp and OTAs are valuable, Mike Borgonzi said it yesterday, and you'll hear from him in just a few minutes, and as well, again, live with us at 7:30, that before pads go on, there's only so much you can learn about a football team. And that's not just big guys, that's not just offensive line and defensive line. You're going to learn a whole lot about this team over the next few weeks. And I think that's true for all 32 teams, obviously. I think it's especially true for this football team and how young the Tennessee Titans are, how much they started to progress in the right direction at the end of last season. You hope that in many ways you are picking up where you left off, but also infusing new energy and new blood into this team with the players that you've added, and that this football team takes the positives from the end of last year and creates its own identity and looks like a different football organization starting today.
That's what's as you're talking. That's what's most unique about each year. No matter if you're bringing back a ton of players, or this is a new makeup with new coaches, new GMs, new everything. Right? Is you don't know what it's going to look like. And as a coach, even myself on like the smaller level, like high school and just flag football stuff, like these practices help mold what you want it to be. You want to see if the guys on the team, I don't want to say are resistant to what you're asking them to do, but there is the mentality that, you know, as a coach, specifically the coaching staff, what they want this team to look like. We spoke about how tough they'll be. You know, how good at executing plays will it be? Will they be smarter?
Well, how hard the camp is about to be, too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you get all of that, at least for this year, the Tennessee Titans, a version of it we've never seen before. Like we can look back to everything that Robert Saleh and Brian Dable, Gus Bradley, the entire coaching staff has done in other places. But these are different players, a different mentality, and a different era and where the Titans are. So anybody that can project what this team is going to be from our perspective in the media or the fan base's perspective, it's just, I mean, it's almost premature. And I don't want to say wrong, but we don't know what a bad day does for tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
The identity starts being built today.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't think you can undersell how important the next 4 to 5 weeks are for this football team when you consider it as a new coaching staff, a lot of new players, a new strength program, a new just way of thinking for this organization. I mean, this is a pivotal moment in the history of the Tennessee Titans that starts today.
It does, but it's also the, I guess, the floor, the perspective of this team too, from a fan's perspective. That's the other part as well. Is more hopeful for me as far as
I think there's buzz around the team right now.
It is. It most definitely is. I'm not sure, and it probably was just my algorithm, but you've seen as of late more national just news from Cam. I think I saw one of those big aggregate Twitter accounts recently, like, look what the Titans have done this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, this team is becoming a little bit of a popular sleeper team
Yeah.
in the AFC. And I think that's what's interesting about the way Mike Borgonzi and Robert Saleh managed expectations yesterday. They're not putting any sort of expectation on this team other than let's get better every day, and using the simplest words they can to say, we've got a lot of work to do and we've got a lot to learn about this team.
Yes, but
they are not putting that on this team internally. That's coming externally, and they don't really care about that, nor should they.
And you can't, though, like because there's so much stuff that happens behind the scenes and off the practice field that the outsiders don't have the privilege of seeing or knowing why coaches did this type of stuff or made these types of moves too. That's what I was always funny to me as a player. There'd be a lot of conversation, well, the coaches should have did this, or this player has a different expectation. It's like, no, guys get different tasks. Guys are asked to do different things. Mm-hmm. You'll see those roles kind of unfold, but Will, for our side of this as well, man, the storylines that check every day of what you're going to be looking for. I think for me, Cam's, of course, going to be topic of conversation probably 7 out of 10 times, but I'm more.
And the offensive line will be 2 of the other 3. And then we'll have room for everything else for the one other thing that we talk about on this team.
Will.
And for good reason, too.
It absolutely is, man. Like, and no, this just because I'm here doesn't mean this is an offensive line show. I listen to all our teammates.
No, it's the state of this team right now. It's the biggest question we have.
It absolutely is. You know it's big, okay, when it comes down to the state of this team. When Don Davenport, a.k.a. Babs, is asking me offensive line questions, I'm just like, one, I had a lot going on yesterday. I was logged off all of yesterday for the most part, man. And Babs texted me and asking me stuff. I'm like, okay, what is this? She's like, what is a pec? Have I ever had a pec injury? I'm like, no, I haven't had one. And I'm just like, well, it's one of those tedious things. And I was like, what happened? Did I miss something? She's like, well, you didn't hear about JC. I'm like, what do you mean I didn't hear about JC?
JC Latham, who is working through a pectoral injury that he suffered during OTAs. We did get confirmation on that I know Mike Borgonzi said last year at OTAs. He meant this past spring during OTAs. So he is working his way back, considered day-to-day. Amani Hooker, though, activated from the team's physically unable to perform list yesterday.
We figured that, though, right? Like, it could be any moment.
No, we didn't. We figured that hopefully would be the case.
Let me say this. We weren't overly concerned as far as Amani Hooker was.
And to be fair, I mean, for players like this where we have reporters saying things like short-term injuries should be out there soon, there's not a major concern about either guy.
No.
When it comes to getting back on the football field and being ready for a full ramp up into the season.
It just shows you, I guess, the expectations from a fan's perspective, though, right? Like when you mention the 2 names, and of course J.C. Latham being a part of that, fans are, to our point a second ago, fans are eager to get this O-line as a non-issue, and hearing that JC's almost in a day-to-day state with trying to make sure that issue doesn't become a bigger issue going into training camp, because what you don't want to do is that I call it all the time, Will, and I know you felt it because we've talked about it, but that sports pressure to get back out there with your teammates, that FOMO we call it sometimes, like you want to make sure that you're taking full control, like taking the health as serious as you possibly can with a pec injury, to make sure it doesn't reset it. We said it whenever he was announced that he was going to the PUP. We much rather you go ahead and take all the time now. A non-issue, and even better for him, it's upper body, not a lower body. I know you use your arms to run, and the pec is a part of it as well, but he can still be in condition. That is the biggest thing for him when it comes down to being ready for training camp.
That's a good point.
That's the part. Like, if it was lower body, we kind of have a different conversation.
It'd be harder to get in cardio shape.
And that's all you're looking for.
Interesting. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, that's why I was saying, like, I don't want to speculate if it's lower body, upper body, whatever the case. The fact that it's a pec, conditioning,
we can still be on the exercise bike. We can still do the Stairmaster.
We can get all of that. we muscle.
I'm sure JC's thrilled about all of that, like anyone would be, to be able to do more cardio stuff.
And I don't expect strength is ever his issue. So even with the pec.
Right. We can still work on footwork.
Yeah.
There's a lot we can get done with a pec injury.
We can work on all of that. And then
That's good news.
when he gets back healthy, he probably gets under the bar and lift 350 like it's nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Must be
like
nice.
if I'm picking up 55 still for dumbbell curls when I
how's your
should
arm
be.
doing?
It was my back. It was my back that I
back.
strained.
Okay.
Yeah, back is
Follow-up
fine.
question. How's your back doing?
Quick recovery, super athlete out here.
615-737-1045. It's actually why Ramon had to leave yesterday. He was in a cryo chamber for his back because he lifted a dumbbell that was 55 pounds on a bicep curl.
all hands on deck, Will.
We put you in the Matthew Stafford regeneration chamber that he got put in last year.
Well, I'll see it. I'll see it out. Well, no, I won't see it. That's L.A., not San Francisco.
California's all the same.
California. I can take a flight. That's like a 20-minute flight,
there you
probably,
go.
right?
20 minutes to I thought you meant from here to there.
No, from San Fran
well,
to L.A.
Ramon, that's a little bit longer.
I think it's like 30 minutes. We can get there and back.
615-737-1045. You will hear from Robert Saleh and Mike Borgonzi, the highlights from yesterday's press conference. Coming up next, as we broadcast live for the Vanderbilt Health Football Center Titans Training Camp 2026, day number 1. Ramon Foster, Will Bolden, Ramona Will, 1045 The Zone. Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone, live from Tennessee Titans training camp before practice number 1. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Kirby Allen Kirby. Justin Hawkins back at our 104.5 The Zone studios. 615-737-1045 is our number. Coming up this morning, Mike Borgonzi joins us at 7:30 here at the table. Trey Wallace will talk a little bit of college football with us at 8:20. Rhett Bryan will be here at 9, walking through some defensive storylines for the Titans as we get ready for practice number 1 right after we go off air today. That is how the Robert Saleh schedule is going to be over the course of training camp the next few weeks. Practice will start as soon as we're done.
Yeah, I think that's perfect for us. Get out
Absolutely,
here and
it's
just watch a
perfect
little bit,
for us.
man.
We talked a little bit, Saul and I, and he agreed to do what's best for our show.
You know what?
Yeah.
This is players' coach.
I'm kidding, of course.
Yeah, somebody might actually believe that right now.
Always.
What's always fascinating to me, and I feel like I say this every year, I've noticed it since I was a player, but like the early stages of training camp days is so peaceful and serene. Then you recognize like a bunch of violence is about to happen.
Yeah, it's nice and calm right now. It is literally the calm before the storm.
It's the calm before the storm, man. And I'm seeing some of the slogans and stuff they got around the Titans banners and around training camp, man. All gas, no brakes. Like, that just lets you know.
Back there it says, own it.
Own it, yes. I'm in all of those things, boy. Like, it is. You really shape your mind into going into battle like daily. Like, and again, I say this often. Like, the physical side of this is most definitely the most important because you can't play around with football. You can't act football, not even a little bit. Like, you can set a fake screen in other sports, respectfully savage, but you cannot, in any capacity, act like you're playing football. So the physical side is necessary, but this mental battle of trying to survive training camp, trying not to get fired, man, is where guys get wrecked, I think, the most.
Just to set the scene a little bit here of what we are looking at. So we are up here on the top of the SeatGeek Terrace. If you're watching on 104.5 The Zone TV, you can see the beautiful apartment building and sun rising behind us. But they got a lot more seats out here than they have in the past. Probably the most that they've had for fans when this does become open to fans, since the building we are sitting on top of right now was the stands before they built this building, and they used to have stands over here on this side. They've got this first field done that was being constructed again and kind of dug up, and all the new stuff put in during the spring workout stuff and OTAs and minicamp, and then the 2 fields in front of us, the new banners around look great. The tighten up, the different slogans you mentioned, the new branding of the new Titans logo everywhere. I mean, this place is looking like it's ready for camp and ready for players and ready for football to be practiced here.
Forgot about that. You're right. In OTAs and minicamp, field 1,
It looks really good.
it was not complete. It was a bunch of dirt and gravel and stuff like that. And that's why it looks so good. And, of course, all of that is the drainage that they're trying to make sure they can have guys available for grass
GPS
practices.
stuff and all the technology and the crazy cool things that you can learn about. All of it. Yeah.
I say if you're
Looks
coming out here for practice and you got one of those I guess tickets to come out here for a day, this platform of bleachers that they have covered up, okay, that's like awareness to me. Okay, Will, that is awareness. It's covered. It's staggered like you're in the stands.
Yeah,
but not just that.
A huge awning.
Yeah,
with seats for fans. Looks great.
I bet the most important thing was you keep fans out of harm's way of players too.
Absolutely.
Like,
it's a good thing.
That's a good thing where you're trying to make sure the players get the full field of work, sidelines and up and down.
Yesterday, Mike Borgonzi and Robert Saleh spoke to the media as they opened up camp with their start of the season press conference. Mike Borgonzi on the current state of the roster and its competitiveness.
You know, I think really it's too early right now. I mean, you can go through OTAs, but we don't have pads on at that point, you know, so the game is played with pads. So there's a lot of work here to be done to evaluate. But I do think the competition in general is better this year. We've improved that. So, you know, like I said, we have a lot of work to do. And, you know, we'll evaluate this as we go through camp.
Robert Saleh asked as well about managing expectations with the reality of where this roster is right now.
You know, what we talk about with our guys is about us. I get we play in a really good division. I get there's 31 other teams in the NFL, and but the focus is on us. The focus is on our process. The focus is on winning the day, and the only chance you have at being successful in this league is if you have a great process. You win day to day, and you put yourself in position to be as good as you can be on game day, and that's really the main focus for our football team.
That was really the theme, Ramon, of yesterday's press conference from both Robert Saleh's perspective and from Mike Bergonzi's perspective. They have built this roster. They have improved this roster from where it was last year to be able to have higher expectations. But at least externally in what they're saying into microphones, it is still all about managing the expectations and understanding this is a young football team with a new coaching staff, with a new routine in the building, a new routine on the practice field. And we're going to find out a lot over the course of the next 4 to 5 weeks.
Man, it's just that they feel like in hearing Bergonzi speak, they've built a roster that they can have a daily session of just good on good. Like when you do that as far as figuring out who you're going to bring in free agency-wise, who you're retaining, and what they've done in the last couple of cycles of drafting as well, like it starts there. And Coach Saleh backed that up right there by saying – they're going to focus on themselves. Like, I think we look at training camp as if the entire preparation of it is to prepare for week one. Like, it's a setup to prepare for week one, but the battles that you have within, like, the first 3 weeks is my defense, a Tennessee Titans defense, against my Tennessee Titans offense. How do we make us better? Where do we find challenges that we need to go and attack daily right there? And I think that's smart on Coach Saleh to kind of minimize, shrink, I guess, the focus of what camp is by saying, hey, look, we got to get better individually first. We got to make sure that Cam Ward is getting pressured the way he needs to and making the proper steps that he can, because if you're worried about week one Jets, then you lose focus of what this time of the year is all about. And, again, when you have better competition, barring health issues, like that is the most perfect place to start at when it boils down to how you build a roster, how you create, if we can be honest with you, Will, expectations by how you challenging yourself daily.
And I think, too, Ramon, we get so bogged down, and maybe I do personally in the generation I grew up in this being like Madden. And every player has an overall number. Yeah. And every player has a fixed, set skill level of how good that they are at football. That's just not reality.
Yeah.
And a camp like this for a team as young as this one is, with a new coaching staff, with head coaches everywhere on this roster who have been a part of leading organizations, the quality of this football team is subject to change, and we hope changing in the right direction. Right. And it is literally a ball of clay that they're going to mold into a different type of football team over the next 4 to 5 weeks. And I'm using some cliches, I'm using some phrases that probably get used in a lot of different sports in a lot of different ways, but I think it's the right way to think about training camp, to be honest with you, in that this team does not have a set identity yet. That is going to be set over the next 4 to 5 weeks.
It's so funny that you said that. We look at it, and I think we all do, with an expectation that, hey, this guy's an 85 rating on Madden.
And like, even, too, like what real. They're rated in NFL 100 and the ESPN top 10 lists and everything. I mean, a lot of different systems can give you a lot of different ratings, and a lot of different coaches can get a 90 overall out of you or a 70 overall out of you. I mean, there's just so much of this, and it's why football is so fun. It's why it is the ultimate team sport.
Yeah.
Is that your rating is very much subject to change, and it's a very simple way. It's an overly simple way to talk about this sport.
It is, and just to add to that too, like you bring up the new coaching staff and new system, like guys that probably didn't have a big role can find one in this system, or Bones Fossil can find a guy that you may look at as like he's not going to play for us, and he works now because he shifted the way he's viewed his system and stuff like that. And that to me, I laughed when you said we view it as a Madden rating, because guys have fanfare on social media. Guys have expectations from fans that they find themselves sometimes disappointed in just based off what the coaches are asking them to do or how they respond to what training camp is. Like, not every play, not every year is built for players. We know how it goes. There are up years, down years, but this is what training camp is to find that consistency in all of this. Like that more than anything it's the most important component of an NFL season. How consistent can my right guard be, my quarterback, this young safety, my punter, my kicker? Like, you build all of that now.
Sure. I think so. The way this team will build all of that quality is going to be interesting under a new head coach. And talking about the difficulty of camp and the ramp up of intensity, Robert Saleh had this to say yesterday.
I feel like we got a really good thing going. Like I said, we've done a lot of communication, a lot of studying. It's going to be a slow build all the way through to the end of training camp, where we're constantly stacking on days and building the volume and the strain that we put on our players, giving them new stimulation every couple of weeks to kind of shock their bodies. And so we've got a really good plan. And you've got this acclimation period where you can't put pads on for these first 4 days, and we'll continue to build and add in lifts and add in extra runs to get them going. And then you got our padded practices. And we're 2 weeks from today, and we're scrimmaging versus San Francisco. So it comes quick, but the focus right now is to get our guys ready for that first preseason game. Obviously, they don't have to play the whole game, but they've got to be ready to take on those 6, 7, 8 play drives. And so, yeah, there's a plan for the ramp up for sure.
Robert Saleh speaking yesterday. Putting in perspective, too, Ramon, on just how quickly things are going to move. I mean, they're now less than 2 weeks from that first scrimmage.
That changes your outlook on. Well, and I will say this, though, too. I'm appreciative of the new NFL schedule and safety requirements for ramping up. But 4 of your 5 days, and then you got what after that? 9 days to kind of get ready with travel and then be ready to go practice. I do think, like, that's a long time to ramp up, but it's necessary, I guess, with sports science that guys have to take their time to get acclimated. But the Titans going to get on the plane to go to San Francisco with about, 6 days of, like, full physical practice before having to go to a very physically known team like the 49ers and give their all. That, to me, is I don't know, I like the adjustment of what training camp is, but I do question sometimes, like, okay, do we have to wait that long to start hitting? Now, I will shift my thought in saying this is retired me speaking.
Fair.
Okay?
Fair.
As a player, I'd have been probably loving, like, we got 4 days basically of, like, acclimation. Like, it's cool, I guess is what I would say. But when you think about being 2 weeks away from actually getting, you've seen these practices of joints. Like, they're beyond physical.
Right.
And I think now with most teams only doing 1 day of joint practices because you can't have a day 2 anymore because it gets too crazy. You got to give your all in that one practice, and you need your guys to be careful and actually use this ramp-up time to get ready to go hit, because you don't want to just jump out there and feel like you can swim a triathlon. What is it? Triathlon.
There you go.
Triathlon.
Ironman.
Do an Ironman in week 1, So I want to see how they kind of delegate those doggone reps as well, because that's going to be a physical day.
Mike Morganzi was asked yesterday about the urgency being higher this year as a rebuild continues, new staff in place, his front office in place for a second year. How does the sense of urgency for this football team compare to last year?
I think there's always urgency, really, every year to win in this league. I feel good about the pieces that we have here now, the players. Obviously, Coach Saleh coming in and his staff. The urgency in this league, it's so competitive. We feel the urgency.
Talked later about the urgency and the overall feeling that this front office has about the way it has surrounded and protected Cam Ward. This was Mike Morganzi later in the press conference.
Yeah, I feel good right now. Like I said, we'll find out when the pads come on, though. We've added a couple of guys in the draft, some in free agency. You really won't really know until you get the pads on here. So, but I feel good about the work they put in the off season, and we'll continue to evaluate it.
Mike Morganzi speaking yesterday, and again, he'll join us in a little under an hour here at the table.
Borgo just be so chill when he talks. Like, every answer just comes to him, and he's just ready to go. the most fascinating part, though, is the acknowledgement of getting Cam help, though. Like, you can ask a lot of your franchise quarterback, Will. Like, there's like, man, he better be able to do this. He needs to take these steps. But your cast of characters, your teammates around you that gotta support you. Every ball is, not going to be a catchable one. Which one of your wide receivers is going to make that hard catch? You know what I'm saying? And when you look at the young players that have come in as well, how many of them can start contributing? Because you want those guys to kind of grow up with Cam as well.
And he mentioned, too, earlier in the press conference, we are building this offensive line. Building, present tense, in process. Not it's been built. We are building this offensive line.
We could do so much speculation around that.
Right, because that could mean we have pieces. We just don't know where we're going to put them all on the chessboard. That could mean there are free agents out there that we're still interested in. That could mean there are waiver claims that we will make at the end of this thing of guys we feel like have a chance that could help us. And in reality, it probably means all of it.
It means,
to be honest with you. You have a blank canvas of a right side of the offensive line. And today the picture starts to become painted and starts to become maybe a little bit clearer than it is today.
I'm okay with what I feel like you have three of. Like, you got your left tackle, your left guard, and Austin Sloatman being your starting center.
Right.
I think we can feel comfortable with that.
I think so, too.
JC is most definitely the right tackle, but being comfortable about where he's going to be when he's let loose off the leash is you have to watch that because, again, those type of tendon and muscle injuries right there. We've seen people have a small issue and make it bigger, and that's why I think both of us have said, like, just get healthy first. Be well-conditioned when it's your time to go, but don't have another setback because that's the other part of the season. When teams have bad seasons, you don't account for how many injuries that you have. Like, we'll acknowledge it just lightly, but teams go through these injuries, and who's going to be the guys that step up? This is where coaches make their bread. Training rooms also earn their stripes is keeping guys and getting guys ready to go daily.
615-737-1045. Your phone calls next as we wrap up hour number one. Big Ten Media Days are underway, and yesterday there was a valid message given by the wrong messenger from a coach taking a shot at the SEC. We'll talk about that coming up next.
Have you heard that a lot of corporate-owned chain jewelry stores are shutting their doors? So many smart shoppers, they figured this out already, that cookie-cutter jewelry is boring and mediocre service is unacceptable, okay? That's why Genesis Diamonds is having record success. One, Genesis, they're locally owned, yes, right here in the city. Staffed by real experts with warranties and guarantees that are unheard of, with personal attention, with case after case of unique fashion-forward designer jewelry with no attitude, no pushy salespeople, no inflated pricing games. Genesis not only guarantees the best price, but their quality is second to none. The world's top bridal designers have chosen Genesis as an authorized retailer because they meet the highest standards. Whether you're looking for a classic ring or ultra-modern ring, a natural diamond or a lab-grown diamond, Genesis has options for you at every price point you can think of, and you will love the laid-back, fun experience as well. It is as far from a Wall Street corporate box store as you can get. Genesis Diamonds, they're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs, and also don't miss their amazing selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches.
Wrapping up hour number one of Ramon and Will live from Titans training camp at the Vanderbilt Health Football Center. Coming up in 45 minutes, we will sit down with Tennessee Titans general manager Mike Borgonzi here from the facility ahead of practice number one, starting right after our show wraps up. 615-737-1045 is our number. Let's go to the phones where Derek is in Dixon. What's up, Derek?
Yeah, quick question was James Williams, the guy they drafted from University of Miami, was a safety. Now they drafted him as a linebacker. Do you guys see him having a role on this team with this new regime?
It's a good question, Derek. What do you think, Ramon?
Fair question. James Williams, man, depends on what role you're going to be asking him to play. Like, naturally, I say yeah because of what this defensive philosophy is as far as linebackers being able to be good in space. As a former safety, you feel like there's something there when it boils down to his ability to operate in space. Now, how he executes this offense, how he brings physicality to the plays when you got to stick that foot in the ground and go make a play, go make a tackle, that's where, as far as him playing defense, that's where he's got to be, I guess, better. That's where he's still learning. Like, this is going into year 3 or 4 for him as well. So, like, his ability to show that, like, I'm a pro at any point in which you need me is where you want him to go. Now, again, a role on the team could be special teams. Like, at some point, if you're not at the position, because they drafted, of course, Anthony Hill Jr., right? They also got Cody Barwin, and they also have Cedric Gray.
And they signed Mahmoud Diabate from the Cleveland Browns.
Mahmoud Diabate as well.
Who's probably right now in front of James Williams.
So when you think about that, I would tell you this. Be in a position where you can contribute to the team. If you're not at your position, James Williams, man, can create a career as a all-pro, Pro Bowl special teamer if he doesn't get defensive reps.
He's got to make the team.
He's got to make the team.
I think right now, to your question, Derek, he is the 5th linebacker on this roster.
Yeah.
So his role right now is a special teamer until he proves otherwise. I mean, in theory, yeah, his skill set fits really well in this defense, but when you're going into year 3, we can't be talking about theory anymore. We got to see it on the football field. And we've just not seen enough consistency from him at the linebacker position to warrant a major role in this defense right now.
To even, but the best thing going for him, whole new staff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a clean slate. And again, his skill set fits really well with what Robert Saleh asks his linebackers to do. But again, that's on paper in his skill set. And when a guy's going into year 3, we care less about skill set and more about who you are as a football player playing football, not what you can do in a T-shirt and shorts on a testing kind of day or at the NFL Combine.
The way I view it, his best case scenario is to be in direct competition with Mahmoud Diabate on being the 4th linebacker.
Right.
When you need me,
for sure,
I'm ready. First priority, if he can't get to that point, is to be a demon on special teams. Every single one of them. Punt, return, kickoff coverage, and anything in between. Onside kicks and all of that. So,
and again, this is a 7th-round pick, drafted 242nd overall. That's probably about right.
And these are
a special teamer.
It's not minimizing his role. It's just what
7th-round pick
he's created for himself in these first few years in the NFL. So,
I would agree.
Yeah, great question, great concern about James. He's got so much talent.
So yesterday, a little bit of trash talk from Big Ten Media Days.
Of course.
We got to enjoy Media Days while we have them because soon, like conference championship games, they probably won't exist in college football.
Right.
Brett Bielema, Illinois head coach, former Arkansas head coach who went 29-34 in 5 seasons at Arkansas.
Oh, wow.
Had to let that one breathe for a second.
Say that again. I missed it. He went 34 and 29?
Who went 29-34 in 5 seasons from 2013 to 2017 in the SEC. Said yesterday, quote, I know Greg Sankey has got to protect the SEC, and they kind of want to live in 2005 forever. But I think the forward thinking of where we are in college football is an awesome thing. Brett Bielema would know what it's like to live in 2005 because his offenses and the I formation and pro style that he's been running also live in 2005.
This bro right here is he's talking as if he's won Coach of the Year.
Yeah,
something like
fair
that.
message, not the right messenger.
Not the right
from Big
messenger.
Ten Media.
Like This to me is by far one of the most fascinating just pathways that he's had. So okay, he did win Coach of the Year in the Big Ten in 2006 at Wisconsin.
No wonder he wants to live in the thousands.
The thousands, yeah, the early 2000s, yeah, single digits thousands. Because you want to hear what's funny about him saying that. Okay, he's at Wisconsin from 06 to 12. And decides to go elevate himself and come to the SEC to go to Arkansas, a.k.a. Arkansas, okay? Fails there miserably, all right?
29-34.
And then goes to friggin' New England Patriots as a consultant. Brother, don't act like you came into the SEC and dominated. Like, that's the part, like, where's the mirror? Like, and I love the fact that he, is not going to play an SEC schedule or SEC team this year. I hadn't looked at, where is he at again?
He is at Illinois.
Illinois.
The last game he coached was a win over Tennessee.
Shout out to Brad Hopkins, by the way, and him and being an Illini alum. But your coach can go bite rocks, is what I would tell you.
A
whole
bite
box
rocks.
up. Just shatter them.
Whole box up.
Just shatter them.
Not just a bag. Get a whole box.
But here's what he's doing. Hey, Brett, be good, okay? Be good. We keep receipts in all sports, man. And the point I get. SEC's got to go win a natty again, and I get where he's coming from. But don't act like he's helping the Big Ten into that national championship chase, though.
Yeah, and also don't come at me that a Music City Bowl helps validate his opinion when half of the good players that were on Tennessee and Illinois both opted out of that football game and many others in bowl season. He cracked also another couple of comments and joked. He said, I think I just made the headline. What I'm saying is when I went to the SEC in 2013, it was a completely different league, in my opinion, than the one I was in the Big Ten prior at Wisconsin. Those two elements came into college football, talking about NIL and the transfer portal and the whole thing. He says the whole world changed. It's overly obvious to say that, but I think anything that predates that is just a different time in college football. It just is. To his point, he is saying that in today's world, the playing field has been leveled, and anything before NIL and transfer portal is just kind of ancient history. And he's not wrong. But the joke about living in 2005, like, buddy, I don't know that you are the right messenger to make comments like that against the SEC when you were as bad as you were the SEC.
Nah, seriously, brother. Tighten down a little bit with the little trash talk.
Tighten down?
Yeah, with a little bit of the trash talk. Figure out Rutgers again this year, sir, okay? How about Northwestern? The SEC ain't got two of those teams in general this year. Like a Rutgers and a friggin' Northwestern. Our old Northwestern is now Vanderbilt, who's on the national stage weekly, and we haven't heard about Northwestern since they got a new stadium by the lake. Shut up.
Offensive coordinator Chip Kelly for the Wildcats this year.
Another failed guy.
615-737-1045
it ain't Alabama no more.
Is our
Go to the Big Ten.
number. A former SEC defensive tackle got paid yesterday. Ramon was right and I was wrong about who was next to get a big offer after Jeffrey Simmons, and the Titans look pretty good based on the deal that was handed out yesterday. We'll talk about that coming up next.
7:01. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Titans training camp officially upon us. Day one of training camp is today. Head coach Robert Saleh will speak to the media later this morning at 9:45. Practice will begin at 10:15. Titans news yesterday. Safety Amani Hooker was activated off the PUP list and he'll practice today. Meanwhile, right tackle J.C. Latham remains on the PUP list with a pectoral strain. And yesterday, there was a lot of NFL news across the league. Eagles signed two-time Pro Bowl selection Jalen Carter to a 4-year, $152 million contract extension that's worth up to $160 million. That includes $106 million guaranteed, now making him the highest-paid defensive tackle in the NFL, overtaking Titans' Jeffrey Simmons. Pro Bowl cornerback Denzel Ward and the Browns, they agreed to a 2-year, $62.2 million extension yesterday, making him the highest defensive back in NFL history. It's the second time that he's done that in his career. For the Buccaneers, they are not giving quarterback Baker Mayfield a contract extension, meaning he will play 2026 on the final year of his current deal. And lastly, in Las Vegas, Raiders head coach Clint Kubiak announced Tuesday that 4-time Pro Bowl quarterback Kirk Cousins will be the starter over number 1 overall pick Fernando Mendoza as they begin training camp. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into hour number 2 of the program. Wednesday morning live from Titans training camp, day number 1. As we talk to you for the Vanderbilt Health Football Center, the SeatGeek Terrace overlooking 3 football fields where buzzers, whistles, yells, and glee will fill the air today on this Wednesday, July the 29th. Mike Bergonzi joins us in a half hour. Your phone calls throughout the morning at 615-737-1045. Trey Wallace at 8:20. Rhett Bryan at 9. Streaming the show live as well as always on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Ramon called it. Jalen Carter got paid. After Jeffrey Simmons got his big contract extension a few weeks ago, Ramon said Jalen Carter is next. And I said, the guy that had 3 sacks last year and 5 tackles for loss? And got ejected for the first game of the season? Ramon said, yep. And as always, Ramon was 100% right. 4 years, $152 million. An extension worth up to $160. Drew Rosenhaus and Jason Rosenhaus telling Adam Schefter, $106 million guaranteed for the 25-year-old former Georgia Bulldog, who in 3 seasons, Ramon, has 2.5 more sacks than Jeffrey Simmons had in all of just last season.
Yeah.
How in the world is Jalen Carter making more than Jeffrey Simmons? Explain this to me like I'm 5.
He's younger. Let's start there. And this is a payment for what he's about to do moving forward. The thing about Jalen Carter playing, one, he's next up as well. Can we acknowledge that?
Yeah.
He's next up. A top 10 draft pick. That plays into the fact that I got to give it to him, man. Drew and his brother Jason, Drew Rosenhaus and Jason Rosenhaus, when it comes to those premier players, they go get it. Like, that's one thing that I've always appreciated about Drew. I got a relationship with him. When we see him, cool. He go gets it for his guys, and he gonna get a big number. But you got to look at the smaller number too. That 106 is the number that you're looking for. But the reason Jalen Carter got it, man, he's next up. It's what he's about to do, and also what he demands from offenses on each and every Sunday. Like, I got to give it to him. He's a unique specimen when it comes down to his play. He and Jeffrey Simmons, in my personal opinion, align more with how each other play. I think Jalen Carter may be, and I say this in a different way, I think he's just a little bit stiffer than what Jeff is. He's a little bit more robotic, like rock'em sock'em, you know what I'm saying? Like punching game, like he's like that. Jeffrey Simmons got a little bit more swiftiness, or he's a little bit more swift when it comes down to his play and how limber he is and how he can bend. When you look at Jalen Carter, it is all power. It is all explosion. It is all attention on him each and every play. And when you got an offense that's got to prepare for him, like you feel that. You understand, man, this is going to be a headache. If you give him an ounce of air to go get a sack, make a play, he does that. And that's why he's gotten that. And you just look at him and say, he's still young. he's still in the position which he's developing, and like I truly do believe he can be a top 3 defensive tackle in this league. One, based off of who he's playing right next to, because Jordan Davis is one of the best around. But when you look at what he's capable of play after play of just being dominant, I think his numbers, to be quite honest with you, are lower just because he gets double teamed and he commands so much one-on-one attention.
I think Jeffrey Simmons does too, though.
Yeah, he does, but like Jeff's in a position where, like we saw last year, Jeff can kind of set up a little bit more though. But like,
what do you mean by that?
As far as Jeff can get wider, with Jalen Carter, he's interior only. Like Jeff can find his spots and go attack him. Jalen mostly just in the middle and play over the center a little bit more as well. So I think he's one of the more dominant young defensive tackles in the league.
Well, either way, congratulations to Mike Borgonzi and the Titans on getting the Jeffrey Simmons deal done first and saving a little bit of money.
A lot bit of money.
And I think, too, it goes to show, doesn't it, that it's another example of how badly Jeffrey Simmons wants to be here.
Yeah.
Because if he really wanted to wait and potentially make $40 million a year, he could have waited for the Jalen Carter deal to get done first.
Yeah, he could have.
And I know that Jalen Carter is way earlier within all of this, and he's 25, and Jeff just turned 29 yesterday, which is easy for me to always remember because we were born on the exact same day and year. But that being said, Jeffrey Simmons made it clear when he was on with us a few weeks ago. He made it clear in speaking over here at the podium to our right. He wants to be a Tennessee Titan for his entire career. He wants to be a one-team player. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, the money was important, and getting a bump up was valuable, but the biggest value to Jeffrey Simmons is being here and being a part of this team and this organization. And, I mean, think about it. If Jalen Carter's deal gets done first and he resets the market around $35, $36 million, if Jeff truly wanted to maximize his value, his price would probably be 40, wouldn't it?
Easily.
I mean, the fact that his deal got done before Jalen Carter's probably saved the Titans $5 million per year, ballpark. Fair?
Yes, absolutely. And being first, most definitely, like, you don't want Jeff hitting the market. I think is like you say Jeff wanted to be here. I think it's super smart on the numbers committee here with the Tennessee Titans that we got to get this done ASAP. I don't care what the number is. We better go beat Vita Vea because we spoke about him, who's now demanding a trade. And you also look at this situation and say you needed to beat Jalen Carter. You have to. So he's young, he's dominant, and he was next up.
615-737-1045, our number. What is the matchup you are watching most closely today on the first day of Titans training camp? I'll ask Ramon that coming up next. What's up? It's Will Bowling. Do you have a plumbing issue at home? Whether it is a leaky faucet, a clogged drain, or a water heater that's gone cold, the plumbing professionals at Lee Company have your back. Available 24/7, year-round, Lee Company's licensed technicians could save you time, money, and all the stresses that come with an ill-timed plumbing issue. You can contact their award-winning team online at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com. If you're like me and when you try to fix things around the house, you end up just making things worse. They got over 80 years of experience helping Middle Tennesseans. Lee Company has been trusted in Nashville since 1944. Available 24/7, a multi-award-winning great place to work with 16 community locations in Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, and Georgia, and over 1,800 team members. Make sure you put the very best players on your team today by heading online to leecompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need. Ramon Will continues on 104.5 The Zone, broadcasting live from the Vanderbilt Health Football Center on the banks of Lake Amulet for practice number 1 at Tennessee Titans training camp getting started in a few hours. Mike Borgonzi will join us here in 15 minutes. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Kirby Allen Kirby with you from the facility. Ramon, what is the matchup you are most excited to watch today on day 1 of training camp?
Alante Carnell. Those two guys, pads or no pads, you got to see how they're going to work and move. And they can be somewhat physical on the outside. That's the other part about training camp. Like, even with the shells on, no pads, there's still a level of physicality and awareness that you have to have on football fields. Whether Alante's punch and the physicality that Carnell can have coming off the ball when he's separating himself from Alante, that to me is most fascinating to me. Young bull versus the old vet, man. I want to see how that matchup goes.
That was my answer as well.
It was.
I think especially before pads come on, to be honest with you, you've got to go with some kind of skill position battle when looking at the most interesting parts of the first 4 practices and especially day 1. But Carnell Tate caught a lot of passes against guys like Micah Robinson and reserve corners during the spring. And that's no disrespect to Micah Robinson, but how he fares against number 1 corners and how those number 1 corners look in a defense that they are expected to lead, I think is going to be a really interesting part of camp and especially a really interesting part of these first 4 days.
Absolutely, man. And again, it's a justification of the draft pick. Like, there's a lot of pressure that's on a young guy like Carnell to try to figure out what you're going to be. Not that you have to, you do have to live up to it on day 1. When you're selected where he was, fair or unfair, this opportunity says that you're supposed to be one of the best guys out there. If he's not today, then what does your bounce back look like tomorrow? The other one, no, for me, is not necessarily a matchup that I want to see, but I kind of want to see the Cordell Flott version. Like, we can get an opportunity this spring. And I'm using non-physical positions because, again, O-line, D-line is just not where it should be. And I guess another guy, if I'm just reeling off hot points that I'm watching today, is how does the slot defensive or Kevin Weston Jr. handle Wan'Dale Robinson?
Yeah, that's a great one. Marcus Harris versus Wan'Dale Robinson.
Marcus Harris, like where is that at? How do you box him in? Because O is going to roll. O is going to go as much as they possibly can with all that they've installed in the spring.
Sure.
So how does the defense manage him? Because he gets busy, man, Wan'Dale Robinson, if he gets the ball in his hand.
It was interesting to me during OTAs and minicamp how many reps Marcus Harris was getting.
Yeah.
Because he was playing with everyone. I'm not sure there was a player on defense who I watched play more snaps than Marcus Harris did over OTAs and minicamp.
Only way to do it.
I mean, I don't have those numbers, obviously, and I'm not in the meetings. I'm not nearly important enough. I'm not halfway important enough to be in those meetings about who's getting how many reps, and those are coaching staff only, of course, but and front office, of course, but they were taking a hard look at Marcus Harris at nickel in the spring and giving him every opportunity possible to prove himself and learn some lessons that I think are beneficial and important as you go into the season, essentially penciling him in as a full-time starter. Because let's face it, nickel is a full-time starter.
It is.
It wasn't in the NFL 20 years ago, but as Brett Bielema educated us that we talked about early on in the show, it's not 2005 anymore. And nickel is a full-time starting position in this league. And maybe that's something we can ask Mike Borgonzi here in 10 minutes is, what did you see last year in a small sample size from Marcus Harris that gives you confidence that he's ready to potentially be a full-time starter in this defense inside?
Man, that's always the challenge is watching that next step, right? And that's where he is. And especially for this defense, like that's the best part about this young talent that was brought in is those guys get a fresh slate with a coaching staff that knew they were getting them, and now it's on them to figure out, to your point with a guy like Marcus Harris, this is how we're going to use him. If he's getting that many reps, then they want him to be prepared. Like, you can kind of read the tea leaves from time to time about what players are doing with the amount of reps that they're getting, and that tells you what he can mean to this team. And there's no better way to do it than to put him under the grinder the way they have this past spring. I want to your point, does it translate over again in the training camp?
Before we get to a break here and get to Borgonzi on the other side, I'm curious from your perspective what the first few days of camp are like as a lineman when especially in the way you had to prove yourself at practice over the first couple of days and the first couple of years of training camp to earn the 11-year NFL career that you earned on the practice field and on games on Sundays as well. Do you have guys working harder than others? Like, do you have defensive linemen that want to take this a little too seriously before pads come on? On the flip side, do you have offensive linemen that are going a little bit too hard? Like, how do you match effort and understand that, yes, you are battling, but you're also teammates with the guys on the other side, and you don't want to totally show them up, but you also don't want to get yourself shown up.
Right.
But also you don't have pads on, and you're trying to match the energy level of everybody else around you. I imagine that takes a couple of days. That's kind of challenging.
It starts like with that understanding, like it's not personal. And it took me a while to realize.
'Cause you're a very
that.
nice guy. And you got to go take somebody's job out here.
You do. So like the defensive player is trying to show as much as he can. That's the one side of the ball. They got to go 100% every single play. Like the offensive side does, but the offensive line also is a management position where if I
protection
overdo
by
it,
committee.
absolutely,
Yeah.
and five working as one. And when you live that type of life on a day-to-day basis, even with no pads on, you honestly got to gauge and see where the defensive line is. Like, you can't take a guy to the ground right now. You can't finish him. You can't really jab him in the ribs. But what you can do, Will, for the most part on the offensive side of things, I can be in great position. My feet can be good. I can make sure my eyes are good. That's the reason they have the stripes on the helmet. They want to see where your eyes are. They want to see where your technique is. And then to that point about if a guy's going too hard, receive it, give it right back. And let them know, like, hey,
Right.
I'm here. Wait till pads come on to do all this dumb stuff.
You got a certain look in your eye when I asked you if some defensive guys go a little too hard this time of year.
It don't help you.
No, I
Right
mean,
now.
look, like again, you're putting in full effort, but there's a time and place to be nasty. The days 1 through 4 of non-padded practice at training camp, not those days.
This is my DBD. Don't be dumb.
615-737-1045. When we come back, we will be joined by Tennessee Titans General Manager Mike Borgonzi as Ramon and Will continues live from Titans training camp on 1045 The Zone. If you are moving in Middle Tennessee, maybe you have been forced to for work, maybe you've been looking for that dream home and you finally found it, but you're worried about getting top dollar for your home. What's up? It's Will Bowling. I can give you a 30-day guarantee from my good friend Bernie Gallerani, who guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it. There's no catch. There's no risk to you. Bernie Gallerani will let you out of the contract at any time. He is the real estate agent with the 30-day guarantee to sell your home. So in such a stressful process of moving, of buying and selling, taking care of all the little details, get peace of mind. Get the 30-day guarantee from Bernie Gallerani by calling him at 615-428-2644 or by heading online to BernieGallerani.com. He's going to take care of you. His team specializes in taking care of the little details so you don't have to. 615-428-2644 or online at BernieGallerani.com. Live from Tennessee Titans training camp, Ramon and Will continues. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling from the Vanderbilt Health Football Center. Pleased to be joined by the general manager of the Tennessee Titans, Mike Borgonzi, kind enough to stop by here for a couple minutes ahead of practice number 1. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. Day number 1 of practice.
Yes, sir.
Right? You know those butterflies, right, Ramon?
So I was explaining to Will what this means on the day. So many hopes and dreams, so many unknowns. Being a young guy is probably the hardest part because what do I do? Because
No doubt.
the vets tell you, but they won't really show you. You just got to watch, be quiet, and learn.
Yeah. That's why so much of what we do in OTAs, it all matters. But
It does.
now it matters when you put the pads on here.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely right. I just got done asking him a minute ago how many times did a defensive player give it a little bit too much before pads came on and try to take advantage of you, and he got a look in his eye of thinking about some maybe not so good days on fields like this.
It's not going to help you today. It will. The coaches look at it as effort, but
It's a process, right?
You better do the same thing when the pads come on. That was my thing. Like, all right, remember we do play this sport in pads. Do you notice that when you guys watch it? Like, oh, he's giving more today with no pads.
Oh, yeah. There's
Yeah.
no doubt. I mean, it's just, when you get into the dog days of camp, it's when you're tired, can you do that? Can you push yourself to do that when you're tired? You can do it at an OTA practice when you got no pads on and you're not going for 2.5 hours. But now you put the pads on, and let's see if you can go and go like that now.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing. As an offensive player, I can manage this a whole lot better than you can. When you get tired on third down, come holler at me and my 5 friends or my other 4 friends over here. Yeah. Don't let me get started on this, Coach. This is about you.
I'll probably give you some bad
Here's the thing. He's amping me up, so he's looking at me like, what you going to do, Mom?
Titans GM Mike Borgonzi with us. Let's start there, though, Mike. What are you looking for today, these first 4 practices for the big guys, and how do you judge trench play before the pads come on for this first week?
Well, now it's just about, execution. You're taking the meetings, everything you learned in the meetings onto the field, and how can you be disciplined and making the calls and protections and lining up. And so then once you get the pads on, let's go full go here and stop making mistakes. So really there's a lot of mental, it's not a walkthrough. But certainly you're trying to get the mental reps down before you get the pads on.
I imagine there are a lot of different ways to run a training camp. And for you and your staff and the planning process with Robert Saleh and his staff, what do you think is going to be unique about a Robert Saleh training camp?
This is the first time I've gone through, in terms of the practice cadence, the way he's designed it, and I think it's actually great because it's really going to push the guys. The days we have full pads, it is all gas, no break. I mean, right, and then but there's also a kind of a recovery day too after. So it's 2 on, 1 off. The guys know that. The expectations were clearly defined yesterday. We put in the team meeting. The guys know, listen, we're full pads today. We're going all out here today. He's very in tune to that process and getting yourself ready for camp. And he's been through it before. And the guys are excited to get this underway.
We're joined by Titans GM Mike Borgonzi this morning. You mentioned that this staff that you guys have kind of put together, man, it's got essentially 4 head coaches in some capacity. Yeah. What does that do for, I guess, just the leadership side of it? Does it ease you now on building a roster like this group knows what they're doing? Because experience, it matters,
It does matter. You've got guys here from different different philosophies, different leadership philosophies. They've been around. They've dealt with all different types of players and personalities. So I think having a guy like Dave's in here and Gus Bradley, guys who've been head coaches before, have been through it, absolutely will help.
Yeah. When you look at this team, the way you guys just set it up, the goal, no matter where you are in a rebuild, is that Sticky Lombardi. You've been a part of that. What are some of the characteristics of a team that those squads that go far in the playoffs or win championships have that you're trying to set up for here, whether it's this year, next year, or just the entire plan? What's the characteristics that those teams have?
This is where it starts. Right?
Okay.
You know that. Yeah. You've been in big games and playoff games, and when you're sucking wind in the third quarter, fourth quarter, and you have to look beside you and know that that person has your back. And some people don't get the whole concept of that. Takes a while, and it takes long days, and it takes relationships, it takes trust, and that's what really this is. It's about putting in the work here, but then forming those bonds. So I remember being in playoff games in Kansas City, and we'd have this long drive drill, and the guys would be talking about, remember that long drive drill? Remember that long drive drill? When they'd be mic'd up during the game, and they do. They remember that, and that's really what this time here in camp is to build that callus, and then to build those relationships and trust that everyone has each other's back.
And that's where I feel like when you have a young team, when you got driven guys, let's go with camp, like. It's a matter of knowing that, look, the hard days, this is also worth it as well. Like the negative plays that you have, if you have a turnover, interception, somebody's not out there that day, like training camp provides the scenarios that games allow you to overcome. Like, and that's what I hated training camp, but I love the buildup of what it was.
But there's no better feeling when it's over, though. Right?
Oh, my God.
When you go through it, you say, wow, we did it.
Yeah,
and
no doubt.
And that's why you feel prepared when you go through it. But because every day you're going to face something in training camp. You're going to have a good day one day, and it's going to be really bad the next day. And then how do you fight through it the next day and get better? And that's what the game's about. How do you move on from the next play and get better from game to game? So this is where you're building that mindset here in training camp.
Titans GM Mike Borgonzi, our guest here on Ramon and Will. Talking about Cam Ward specifically, there are so many different ways, again, to throw the kitchen sink at a quarterback and allow him to see everything that he could possibly see during the season, and you've got a heck of a defensive mind, and minds, plural, on the defensive side of the ball doing that. What makes a successful training camp, in your opinion, for Cam Ward over these next few weeks?
It's really about stacking the days and continue to get better. Don't make the same mistake twice, right? There are going to be things. I mean, even if you're in the league for 5-6 years as a quarterback, you're going to see things like, well, I've never seen that one before. So, that's what it's about. It's about every day just coming in here and stacking days, and the consistency is what you want to get to, is making consistent throws and consistent decisions, and that just takes time, and you stack those days.
Well, one of those defensive players he'll go up against is a player Ramon and I have known for a long time, and former Vol Alante Taylor, who joins this defense. When you look at him and what he did well, Mike, in New Orleans, and having the season that he had last season, what gives you and your staff the confidence in him taking another step and continuing to sustain that incredible season he had in New Orleans last year as he joins this defense?
I think about Alante. I remember watching him in college. The one thing you talk about playing fast and violent, that's what he does as a corner, and that carried over to New Orleans. And what I think he did really well last year is how hard it is to play boundary corner and then move in to play nickel. I mean, not many people can do that. Watching him there in New Orleans and doing that, and I'm so excited for him to take the next step here in training camp. But the one thing I noticed as soon as we got to OTAs, I mean, he was 100 miles an hour, and for a vet, to kind of set that example, I'm excited for him.
How valuable is that versatility to you, too, and his ability to play so many different spots in the secondary?
It absolutely is, because you just, if you put in different packages during a game, you want to disguise things, and guys can move around, or you have injuries, and the versatility is always important, offensive line versatility, and certainly in the secondary, and Alante can do that.
We're talking to Titans GM Mike Borgonzi this morning. Man, I got an opportunity to watch the Netflix series Quarterback. It had Cam in it. I'm not sure you saw it. The question I have for you, I saw it. Do you have an appreciation, or even I would say, and I say this lightly, concern for how Cam's wired at the quarterback position? Like, I've been around guys who've been fiery, whether college or in the NFL, and Cam has a different look in his eye. Maybe
even playing dodgeball with kids
talking about pelting them in the face. You have an appreciation or concern for how he approaches the day-to-day, man.
I have no concern.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing you can't teach someone to have that killer instinct.
Real.
And he has it.
He does.
And sometimes you got to manage that. Now, and but he has it, so I'm not concerned one bit with it.
No doubt. It's fun watching him because I'm just like, oh my gosh, like you either better get with it or you better lay down. One or the other is kind of how he approaches it, man. One position that you can't have any concerns, man, is just the offensive line. This competition specifically, right guard, right, and I guess center, what you throw in there as well, but finding those guys that you wanted on this offense, man, how does that go? And even having Jackson Slater still be in the building, and the two young guys that come along as well. How do you view that spot on this team?
Yeah, I view it as competition.
Yeah.
And, Cordell Volson we brought in, has played in some big games in Cincinnati, and, had an injury last year, but is back 100%. And, it was good for Jackson to get that experience last year, that last game in Jacksonville, just to get on the field. Okay, I can play.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm. He'd practiced all year. That was actually his first game rep. So, and he's had a tremendous offseason. So, and then we have a couple guys that we drafted, and, Carmona. He'll be right in the mix too, and competition brings out the best with everybody, right? Yeah. And so I'm looking forward to that competition.
Mike Berganzi, our guest. It's interesting, Mike, the way this team was able to, it felt like starting in Cleveland last season, take ownership of running the football, and maybe in past Titans days playing AFC Central football down the stretch last season. How important is it for this team to kind of pick up where they left off in the ground game specifically? I know with some new faces, especially up front that you mentioned, but kind of starting the season with that mentality, because Cam clearly benefited last season from that run game kind of taking a step forward.
No, you want that mentality. And like I said, every season's different, right? And you're going to have new players and stuff, but that's the mentality you want. When you can outwill that other team, and that gives you confidence, right? That you can do that. And when you get the run game going like that, like we did late in the year last year, that's going to be important for us.
In the past game as well, Carnell Tate, I know, impressed a lot of us in getting to see him in some days over in the spring and in minicamp and OTAs. How excited are you to see him in the battles with Cordell Flott, Alante Taylor in this secondary as he starts his first training camp?
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be really exciting. So, I think he had a really good offseason here. I've stayed in touch with him during the summer. I know he was working hard. He was down in Miami working with those guys. He's another one who's driven, and every day he's always all he does is think about football, and those are the type of guys we want here. So I'm certainly excited for him as he gets out here, and now we got, like I said, the pads on, the competition, and Lante and him going head to head every day is going to be fun to watch.
Another guy, it's been fun, man. Finally getting that recognition that he deserves across the league. Jeffrey Simmons, just the few years that you've been here, watching his transformation, his body, I think he's more noticeable now across the NFL. Of course, the contract. Congrats on getting that done before Jalen Carter. Right? But what does he mean, man, for just the standard that this defense possesses under Coach Saleh, who's called some really good defenses in his history?
Yeah, I mean, going against Jeff, when I was in Kansas City, he's a really good player. And then when I got here, it's just every day he brings that. That's just not on game day. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it's real.
For a star player to just bring it every day. And he sets the tone for that defense. And it's for young guys to watch him practice every day, the way he takes care of his body, the way he competes on every snap. I mean, he represents everything that you want in terms of just his competitiveness, his toughness. So it's invaluable to have a guy like Jeff out here for this defense.
Man, I ran into Coach Dable on the practice field during OTAs. The laugh tells me everything I need to know about Dave.
It's about being wired the way Cam Ward is.
Straight up, like how is he around the defensive players and coaches? Like, I feel like he's the one with the cattle prod, just getting everybody going. And I look at him and say, Coach, you don't have to go against these guys. Like, be cool. Like,
that's right now.
How fun is it having him around like this, though?
It's great because I think you look at Jeffrey and he's here, the beginning there at OTAs, and I think Dable looked over. He goes, man, he puts the pads on. This is gonna be a different story.
Right.
So, but I think it's great though because that you better be ready to buck your chin strap up every day.
Yeah,
and that just brings out the best in everybody.
Is that one of the best parts of having the types of guys that you brought in, like I feel like these past couple of classes, like they've been all football. They have this level of fearlessness about them. You strategically go after that in this pre-draft. How do you find that when, I guess, the NIL era of college football, you get so much? How do you find guys that still have that drive? Because it seems to a T, every player, at least the high guys you've got, all I do is football. Like, how do you find that?
It's certainly harder now with NIL and the portal and everything, because I remember before we used to have a tag up on the draft board. If you transferred more than twice, you'd have like a double T up there. That was like an alert.
Oh.
But everyone transfers.
Now.
And so now you have to separate, and our scouts do a tremendous job in terms of just doing all that background information. There's so much work, from the former school that he came to, and why did he leave, and you're trying to figure out all those things, right? Yeah. It's not just because, it was too tough here and I had to go somewhere else. There's a lot of other reasons why they money. And so our scouts, it starts there, just building those character reports and really digging down and being disciplined to you get so intoxicated, but when you look at that draft board of all the talent, but like we need talent, but we need those guys though.
Yeah.
And you got to find them, and they're still out there.
Yeah, no doubt.
Mike Bergonzi, our guest. Mike, on the way out, you guys have a lot of players on this roster that have familiarity with a coach who has joined this coaching staff, whether it be Dable on the offensive side, Saul, like Gus Bradley, and there are connections everywhere. How much does that help maybe accelerating understanding the expectations, understanding practice? How much can that accelerate just the process of this team being built when you do have so many guys that know what to expect when they step on that practice field today?
I think it helps a lot. That's the one thing when you're going in free agency, there is a little bit of unknown. Obviously, you have your college background information on guys, and you do your research and you make your phone calls on guys, and guys change though when they get to the league, right? They don't stay the same. So, but having those guys that just understand from Coach Sala to Coach Dable, all right, this is the way we practice. And then, having a guy like, for instance, like Wandell, I mean, he's been so helpful just coming in here and teaching the system to the young guys, or the guys who haven't known the system, even ridden these guys. So I think it's a huge help. Yeah.
I think, like, when you look at this fan base, we hear it daily, and we're in public. You're in public. You're around Nashville and in general. The expectation from this fan base is high. They want to get there. You want to get there. Miss Amy wants to get there as far as winning ways, man. But you have a job of sometimes having a tough decision. How do you balance an unpopular decision that you might have to make, but what's best for the team as well? Because, again, fans, we shouldn't have done that move. Or how do you find, I guess, the confidence to make those?
Yeah, I mean, it comes right back to that, to whatever's best for the Titans, right? And that's what you have to do. And sometimes they are tough decisions that you have to make, but and you have to be strategic with it. But we're always the goal every year is expectations to come out and win, right? But there's so much work that that has to be done before we even get to that first preseason game, or never mind week one. We're worried about, like, let's have a day today.
Yeah.
You keep stacking those days, and then once you get to the end of it, and you're like, okay, I'm ready now. So that's a little bit about managing expectations. It's not because we don't believe.
Sure.
We believe, but we also know reality is we have so much work to do on that field right now, and I can't wait to kick it off here today.
I got a light one real quick.
Go for it, real quick.
Will your son be a better GM than you want?
He probably will.
Wow.
I met him.
He's had my iPad since he was like 4 years old.
That's awesome.
Watching tape, so.
That's awesome. GM in training.
Met him at Bucks event. I'm like, okay, all right. He's clearly been in a meeting or two.
I love it.
No, I was just a fullback coming out of college trying to figure out. I couldn't evaluate anything.
I love it.
He got it, man.
I love it. Tennessee Titans General Manager Mike Bergonzi, kind enough to join us on a very busy day. Happy training camp. Good to talk to you. Appreciate the time as always.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
No doubt.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate your time.
It's Mike
All right,
Bergonzi
thanks,
with us. More Ramon and Will. Hour number 3 coming up next on 104.5 The Zone.
7:56. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Titan training camp officially is upon us as day one of camp begins today. Head coach Robert Saleh speaks to the media this morning, coming up at 9:45. Then practice will start around 10:15. Titans news yesterday: safety Imani Hooker was activated off of the PUP list and will practice. Meanwhile, right tackle J.C. Latham remains on that PUP list with a pectoral strain. A lot of NFL news came across the timeline yesterday as Eagles signed two-time Pro Bowl selection Jalen Carter to a 4-year, $152 million contract extension that's worth up to $160 million. That includes $106 million guaranteed, now making him the highest paid defensive tackle in NFL history, overtaking Titans' Jeffrey Simmons. Pro Bowl cornerback Denzel Ward and the Browns agreed to a 2-year, $62.2 million extension, making him the highest defensive back in NFL history for the second time in his career. And in Las Vegas, Raiders head coach Clint Kubiak announced on Tuesday that 4-time Pro Bowl quarterback Kirk Cousins will be the starter over number 1 overall pick Fernando Mendoza as they begin training camp this morning. Buccaneers beat reporter Rick Stroud reports that 2-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle Vita Vea is at Bucs camp this morning, but is not practicing. Vea is a hold-in after he requested a trade on Monday. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show and hour number 3 getting started on Ramon and Will. Live from the Vanderbilt Health Football Center at Tennessee Titans training camp day number 1. 615-737-1045 is our number. In 20 minutes, Trey Wallace will talk a little bit of college football with us with some major headlines around the Protect College Sports Act that came out yesterday. The SEC and Big Ten closer to agreement on the congressional intervention in college football. We'll talk a little bit about that with Trey coming up here in 20 minutes. Great stuff with Mike Bergonzi here just about 10 minutes ago. Ramon, what stood out to you from the GM with us this morning?
His mentality into looking for the right players. He gets it, I feel like, more than anything, and also his understanding of what it takes to endure through training camp to get this team to where he wants to be at, where they want it to be at, man. I think it's crystal clear almost that they know that this is still a build-up process, but expectations are high. And, like, that's the best place to be at. Like, you're not mailing it in or saying this team is trying to set up for, hey, we're trying to set up for next year. The goal is this year to maximize as much as you possibly can with what you have, man. And you hear that kind of ooze through in the way he speaks.
He mentioned to you about the nerves on day 1 of camp. I didn't really get any nerves from him.
I saw
he
it.
seemed pretty relaxed about everything right now. Maybe I'm just taking that away. Did you get that vibe from him?
I got nerves from him. I did.
Right.
Because you got to think about it, though, man. He's in a spot where he's kind of they've built this roster to say, here's the best of what we were allowed to get that wanted us, and we wanted them. And in that, you don't want to deal first day injury type stuff. You want to make sure that the guys that you brought in are exactly what you thought they were as far as competition. Like, there'll be 1 or 2 misses on any team. It's like, yeah, we'll find somebody else when the time allows us to. But there's most definitely nerves. I personally felt it because he kept shifting that energy to me.
Fair enough.
Well, I was just like, look at him. He's trying to get me going because he's ready to see these guys get going, man. But it's fun having people that know ball like that, the way he does.
Sure.
And I'm kind of excited to see what this is going to look like for him.
Well, for this training camp being what it is, and for a Robert Saleh system that we spoke to him a little bit about, that's going to be strenuous, that's going to be challenging physically for these players. In the same way, Ramon, that we talk about at Tennessee, Jim Knowles having a defensive system and an expectation and a mentality that maybe won't have as many growing pains, considering he's got a lot of defensive guys that have played for him at Penn State before. Mm-hmm. I think the same could be said for this Tennessee Titans team. And for someone like Wan'Dale Robinson, who knows what Brian Daboll expects of him during training camp. Daniel Bellinger, Austin Schlottman.
Jermaine Johnson.
On defense, Jermaine Johnson, John Franklin Myers, Tony Adams. Like, maybe the growing pains and the looking around, where do I go now? And that stuff does matter in training camp because every minute you have out here is precious.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of those can be put to rest, and some of that transitional period can be a little bit easier for this team because you have a lot of players who have done this before for these coaches and know what to expect during training camp.
Strategically going after vets the way they did so they understand the NFL demand. But he even mentioned it as well when you're speaking about Wandale Robinson. Like, Wandale's a coach on the field to the young guys that are trying to learn this offense. Like, where's my spacing at? Where do I break it? What would you do on this route? Hey, Wandale, where are you going to be at? Like, they can have those interplay conversations to where it speeds up this process of learning a little bit more, man. It's kind of rough sometimes handcuffing a coach with just, hey, here's just what you have and deal with it. You know, like, you don't want to be a coach in that position because everybody's jobs is on the table when it comes down to you're trying to be successful. So why would you not go get a quarterback that can help your young fella? Why would you not go find an offensive lineman at the most important position like center, like Austin Sloatman, that can, hey, Cam, I know what the points are in this offense. Here's our strong point. You cook from here. You know what I'm saying? So it's smart management of trying to find success is the way I look at it.
Sure. Titans just announced that they selected 4 coaches for the NFL's Bill Walsh Diversity Coaching Fellowship Program. They've announced the addition of 4 coaches to join Robert Saleh's staff for training camp. DeAnthony Batiste on the offensive line, Malik Davis on the defensive line, Ben Wilkerson for special teams, and Lucy Fan for performance. So,
hey,
a little
that's
news
pretty tough
from the team just a few seconds ago.
I'm going to say this, and you'll say, well, who don't you know? But I played with DeAnthony.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course
DA, I played with him, man. I saw him in the spring. He was like, yeah, I'm trying to see if I can stick with the squad. And he did, man. And shout out to him. Smart guy, man. Understands and knows the game as well. Again, get more veterans that you can get in, whether it's on the coaching staff or on your staff when it comes down to it.
Another headline from just a few minutes ago via ESPN's Adam Schefter. Never a good way to start camp when you have not one, but 2 quarterbacks battling injuries. That's the case in Atlanta right now. With Atlanta quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, which that's going to take some getting used to, dealing with a tight back, and Michael Penix still not practicing due to a knee injury, the Falcons are signing veteran quarterback Cooper Rush, per sources. Our good friend Stephen Godfrey quote tweets that and says, /sim to next season.
At this point, you see what I'm saying, though? Like, I don't know. I don't feel as confident that Michael Penix Jr. is the future for the Atlanta Falcons.
I don't think the Atlanta Falcons are confident in Michael Penix Jr. being the future of the Atlanta Falcons.
You go get Tua, writings on the wall. And
feels very much like another Mariota Tannehill kind of situation playing out in real time.
Absolutely.
Penix will start the season. Tua will come in and finish the season.
And they got real good weapons there, right? They get an offensive line that's somewhat aging a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say they have good weapons for sure.
But they're closer to a restart than almost being competitive in the NFC South than ever with their quarterback situation. And you know, the first thing, let me diagnose it as being a non-trainer, but a tight back. Cool. Tua, are you working on your abs? Like, where are we at? Like, we got how much core work did you do? Did you just throw the football this summer? A tight back, that is core.
Yeah,
to
me.
Me.
How we having a tight back on the first day of camp?
Like, what are we doing?
You knew when the first day of camp was.
You know what that was? How much did you condition?
And I know you're not sleeping on a bad bed somewhere or a bad mattress somewhere. You're living large in the offseason.
Or Hawaii, just sleeping on a hammock, because if you were sleeping on a hammock, it's not great for your back, okay? That's what I'm going to just tell you. Get some support. We get a sleep number deal in the NFL. You can get you a sleep number bed for 30% off. Don't ask me how I know.
Is Tua Tagovailoa good enough with that supporting cast to lead the Atlanta Falcons to the playoffs?
No.
I think he is.
You think he? I don't think he's capable.
I think he is the ultimate, when everything is perfect around him, he's serviceable quarterback. The problem is, at the end in Miami, nothing was serviceable around him.
He just got tendencies that don't allow him to be successful. You put pressure in his face, he's going to float the ball over Kyle Pitts' head.
Sure, but my point is that that's not happening as much, considering the guys blocking for you in Atlanta. I mean, if they got one thing going for him, it's that 5 that protects the quarterback.
He, to me, had old Sam Darnold syndrome. He gets spooked really quick, in my personal opinion.
Well, but then to that point, Sam Darnold had a change of scenery and became a Super Bowl champion. What's stopping Tua from having a change of scenery and not seeing ghosts anymore with a better supporting cast around it.
A tight back now.
Well, right now, yes, a tight back.
A tight back. And that's just what you run into when you're dealing with a guy like Tua. I'm not saying he's not a capable NFL player. It's a deer running across the parking lot right now. But it's not saying that he's not capable of making plays.
Camp.
You asked me, is he good enough to take this team into the playoffs? Looking at the NFC South, especially with Tyler Shucking, you got Carolina that may be better. You look at Baker Mayfield and what they got. My answer is a strong no that he's not capable of. I like his co-partners that he have there. I don't like him in that role.
I hear a lot of mid.
When you
like describing all of that division. That's why I feel like he is good enough, and Drake London, Bijan Robinson, and Kyle Pitts are good enough as well around that offensive line to at least give them a chance to be competitive.
I think they finished third in the NFC South, which means no playoffs.
Probably means 5 or 6 wins is what you're expecting there?
Yeah, 5 to 6 wins. And I think they prefer that to be the case. They don't love either one of those quarterbacks. They just like them a lot because they're available.
I do love the fact that you literally just did squirrel a second ago with a deer running through the parking lot across the street.
2 deer in a random
We're so
parking
back.
lot.
Football is so back. Being out of the studio is so back. You know, the next time we're in studio is next Wednesday.
Yeah, good. Good, all right.
Justin Hawkins, is that a good thing or a bad thing for you that we are not in studio until next Wednesday?
It's awfully lonely in here.
Aww.
Are you wearing pants? Can you confirm?
I can confirm.
Okay.
Yeah. No
shoes.
Check this out.
No problem.
I've already checked the weather for the next week. We're going to be low 80s out here. Do you hear me?
Well, honestly, that timing did work out pretty well to be out here.
Absolutely.
Except if you say that one more time about how nice it is, I'm going to slap you upside the head with this microphone that Rhett Bryan just put down because you know the next week is going to be the gates of Hades.
Yeah, that's 100% fact. Is it really? I believe you.
No, I'm just saying it will be if you say any more about how nice it is out here.
Hey, check this. Not my problem.
It is your problem.
No,
you're going to be out here with me and with the rest of us.
I can survive this based off the fact that I don't have to practice, man. So I'll watch other people sweat their faces off, but not me. Dude, they've done 50 million treatments on this field to get ready.
They did. It looks really good. We're going to end up on the gates of Hades like Odysseus near the 2/3 part of the Odyssey.
What a movie.
Well, at what point can we talk about it? Can we talk about the movie?
Friday.
Okay.
Friday.
So that's
Give it a
what,
little bit
2
more
weeks?
time. Huh?
That's
2
it
weeks.
being out for 2 weeks? I mean, to be fair, the story's been out for 500 years. Like, what are we really going to spoil for people about the story of Odysseus?
People don't read, man. Like, give them time to go see the movie and watch it in IMAX. It's awesome.
You know that song? I think it's a Ray song, Where Is My Husband? The baby, where the hell is my husband? You know that song? That song was written about the Odyssey, actually.
Never heard this before.
How have you not heard that song?
Ray,
it was played at our wedding. It was the song that opened up the dance floor at our wedding reception.
I was just watching body movements more than listening at that point.
Of who? What are you
just the way
talking about?
everybody was excited, like watching the crew come together. I'm not watching body movements. My
Body movements?
My boot
My
thing is right there. I'm watching her
sakes.
body movements. Okay,
Why? Easy.
I'm married. We can speak like this. All right, you are too now. But the movie is awesome if you haven't seen it. If you need a break from training camp or if you can't get enough.
It is fantastic.
It is fantastic.
I'm becoming a movie guy again, by the way.
That's
Because I'm going to see Spider-Man Friday. There are 2 things that will get me to go to a movie theater. Marvel and Chris Nolan.
tough.
And right now, both are happening again.
I'll give you 2 more
Spider-Man
options.
is Friday, which I'm
I'll
very
give you
excited
2
about.
more, Zendaya and Tom Holland.
Yeah, they're in both.
In all of the movies
Yeah,
this
that's
summer.
right. That's right. Zendaya had a ton of stuff come out this year.
She had a role. Did you ever? She got paid for that small role in Odysseus. The Odyssey?
As Athena?
Yeah,
No.
$2 million just for like 5 minutes of their time.
Ridiculous.
But when
Ridiculous.
you're,
I mean, it's 5 minutes of airtime. It's not actually 5 minutes of her time.
but
5 minutes of our time.
She might have did that in like one day. Take $2 million. Just
Yeah, maybe.
There you go.
Maybe. She was at a couple different locations.
She was though. Yeah, you're right. But to be doing that with her husband though, Tom Holland, what a short king, boy.
You did.
What a short king. Like I admire people that
I
choose
love
to
their
climb
relationship
trees, man.
too. Their relationship. You
She's taller than him.
climb trees. It's a little graphic.
No, I didn't think of it that way. Maybe it's just
Yeah,
my
you
mind.
did. What are you talking about? I do love their relationship though. 'Cause he calls her Marie.
Yeah,
To be like Marie. I think that's her middle name.
I didn't
Well, I think
realize
she has
that.
multiple names. She's got a lot of names. But they were doing interviews next to each other the other day, and he was asking about some gelato place in Paris, as
Yeah.
one does when you're married to Zendaya. He goes, Marie, what's the name of that place? And she like tells him. He's like, oh, it's this.
That's beautiful.
He was like, oh, thank you, and just went back to doing his interview. It's just, It's America's power couple. America and England's power couple.
It is at this point.
They're the best of us.
No doubt
They're
about it.
the absolute best of us.
The question I have is who's going to be the power couple on this Tennessee Titans team?
Hey, now. There you go.
Is it going
well
to
done.
be?
Look at you being the one to bring it back to sports.
Listen, we got real football.
Don't
down.
put me out of
No,
don't put me out of a job.
I
here.
would never do that. I want to do
what
this
are we
with you.
talking
Do you
about?
hear me? We locked in. The question I have, though, which tandem are we looking more forward to? We going to save
I've
it?
got a tandem that was just posted about on X, which I can't call it X. It's Twitter. Via Andrew Callahan of the Boston Herald. Drake May when targeting A.J. Brown in team drills during 4 days of training camp. 1 of 7, 1 interception.
Now, here's the problem, AJ. Drake didn't look like this last year.
Yeah, nothing was the same for Drake last season.
No, it was not.
And now he's going to take care of A.J. Brown.
He better go catch some Tuscan leather.
And if it doesn't work out for A.J. Brown, he's going to be taking a shot for me at the bar afterwards to drown his sorrows.
AJ felt like he started at the bottom. Now he's here. That's what he's going to make Drake feel like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mike Vrabel was messing around. Now he's got the real her, his wife. I don't know. We're doing Drake lyrics right now. It's day one. We're distracted. We're just making Drake lyrics out of A.J. Brown to Drake.
Puppygate to me was a soft launch.
Oh, yeah. Can we talk about this?
Not into
Mike Vrabel. You're shameless. You are absolutely shameless. Walking up to the podium, just strutting up there with a puppy on his arm. That way he can't be asked questions about the elephant in the room.
We listen and we don't judge. But that was our opportunity to judge.
We have 20 hours of radio to fill per week. We listen and we judge, Ramon.
And he brought a
We
puppy.
listen and we judge. Yeah.
And he brought a emotional support puppy.
Same difference as when that wasn't Cody Campbell. I just think of Cody Campbell as the head coach at Texas Tech because he basically runs the program and the sport of college football. Joey McGuire in Texas Tech, after all the Brennan Sorsby stuff, the dust settled, they tweeted out that they got a new puppy. On the Texas Tech football
Did they
account.
really?
They did the exact
Cody
same
Campbell
thing.
did it too?
They're the two biggest villains in football coaching circles this offseason have been Joey McGuire and Mike Vrabel.
Seems like the same consultant.
Puppies.
Seems like the same consultant company. That's what that sounds like. Crisis management, they use the same company. They went after puppies. Man, Darius gave us a good one, man, and we just missed it.
Hit me.
Just hold on. We're going home. Just hold on. We're going home.
Fantastic.
Because if you're the New England Patriots fan and you're reading this, it's too late. Practice done, and they want 1 for 7.
You're really good at this. You're really good at this. As I go to my Apple Music and I couldn't pull it up quickly enough to look at my Apple Music to get any more lyrics. What you can say in this break is "I'm on one" as we head to our last break. And right now, what I can say is I'm used to this.
And what you're gonna do is be right above it.
Coming up. Somebody put this out of its misery. Put this segment out of its misery. Trey Wallace talks a little bit of college football with us coming up next.
No doubt.
Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone, broadcasting live from Titans training camp from the Vanderbilt Health Football Center. He is Ramon Foster. I am Will Bowling. Pleased to be joined by senior national college sports reporter covering the SEC college football for Fox, for Outkick, our very good friend Trey Wallace, as we talk a little bit of college ball this morning. Trey, how we doing? How are you? Good morning.
Trey.
I'm good, guys. Good morning to y'all. Hope everything's going well at Titans practice as y'all get underway. And, we're getting closer to the college football season and getting also closer to getting answers on this legislation that has just been clogging up timelines.
Well, Trey, it absolutely is, and you've done a great job covering all of this, and we're looking at 3 football fields in front of us. I hate, yet I understand the fact that in this sport right now, we can't talk about things that happen on these football fields in front of us. We talk about things in courtrooms and in offices in D.C. I'm going to quote Michael Scott here, Trey. I need you to explain this to me like I'm 5 on how we are getting closer to the Protect College Sports Act being a document that the Big Ten and the SEC are becoming more supporters of at this point. What is the latest that you can tell us in this process?
Yeah, so they had conversations last night. The Big Ten did, SEC a few. I think more of those conversations are going to happen today. This 9 a.m. Eastern deadline that was put out yesterday, that was never realistic. Like, that was not going to happen. And there were some that knew that. And maybe it was a surprise to others. I think that we're sitting here at a point now where you have to if you're going to get this thing passed through the Senate at least, you probably want something on the books by the end of the week. They would love it by today, meaning the senators involved in this. And I think at the same time of where we're at, it's kind of in that moment where, is this going to actually happen or not? And I think that, a lot of people are tired of hearing about it, and I don't blame them one bit. And I mean the fans, they just want to spot the ball, play some ball. But also I look at it as, guys, if they're going to do something from a federal level with legislation, like, this is the last chance. Like, this is it. And so now we're sitting here in a system where I don't think a lot of people know the answers here. And I think at the same time, the SEC and Big Ten, they're doing their due diligence. And so, who wins in this? Lawyers and billable hours. That's who wins in this.
They are the only part of college football now that goes undefeated every year and has an untouchable resume, lawyers in college football.
Right,
Trey Wallace, our guest, senior college sports reporter for Outkick. So, Trey, where has the SEC and Big Ten made concessions in this process? And where do you think Greg Sankey is still maybe a little uneasy about where the Protect College Sports Act stands as we sit here this morning?
Yeah, they want to make sure that everything is voluntary when it comes to the media pooling rights, which I completely understand. They want to make sure there's no loopholes in that. One of the biggest concerns for both the SEC and the Big Ten is, and look, along with the ACC, Big 12, and others, is staying out of courtrooms. They want some exemption when it comes to, and we can classify that as antitrust exemption, that's fine. But at the same time, we've had 4 eligibility cases filed in court over the last 6 days. Like, this is the type of things they want to go away. But also conference membership. The SEC and the Big Ten wanted the opportunity, if it arises, to be able to add members to that. So they came up with a number of 19, which means, okay, the Big Ten can add 1. The SEC can add 3. Now, that's something that down the road, because there was never going to be this super conference, guys. And what I mean by that is the SEC and the Big Ten just weren't going to join together like the Avengers and say, okay, forget the rest of you guys. If it was ever going to happen and there was ever going to be like an NFL type model, it's get top 70, 75 teams across college athletics, get them together, and roll with that part. But that's so far down the road, guys, because of television contracts within different conferences. The ACC can't even really get out of theirs till 2032. So I look, and again, that means for teams like Clemson, Florida State, Miami, North Carolina, who would be very attractive to the SEC and the Big Ten. So now you're sitting here in a spot, and you're also having to wonder, okay, this new retention pool that they set up. It's $20 million. Think about this for a second. This is $20 million on top of the $21.5 million in the House settlement. So this is a completely different Rolodex of cash that you're going to have to be able to retain the starting quarterback, the starting running back, the linebacker, whatever. But that puts so many other schools at a disadvantage, because it's not like this money just appears out of thin air.
Right.
Like you have to be able to raise this money, create this money, take this money from television contracts or athletic department contracts that you have with Nike, Adidas, you name it. Like you got to come up with this, and that's why you see around the country schools maybe outside the SEC and the Big Ten. And by the way, there are schools within those conferences that are having a difficult time trying to raise that entire sum of money. So what you're saying is hey, by the way, y'all can add an additional 20, and there's also going to be another $5 million that goes to women's sports. So really, it's $25 million. So now you're sitting in a spot where teams, if they can afford it, it would be around 46 million in additional, revenue to spend on athletes. And while that is great, I guess, for the players and those within the SEC and the Big Ten, guys, I find it very difficult when I look around the country at college programs, teams that are meaningful, that carry a name, that would be able to keep up in the system. But that's a concession that Congress made to the SEC and the Big Ten, guys. So this thing is, it was one thing 5 months ago. Now we're sitting here and we're kind of near the finish line, and either the SEC and the Big Ten are going to veer off to the left and not cross the finish line, or they're going to. And I think it's going to be a very interesting couple of days. But I will say this real quick is they are not, from what I'm told, they don't want to take this to the Senate floor and only win by 1, 2, 3 votes. They want to win by 12 votes, 13 votes. They want to make it look good. So is it worth the risk to get this thing in there and just ram it through just to snag a win, knowing that it's going to get defeated at the next level? So these are things that are right now being discussed in Washington, D.C., and we're up against the clock, guys, because they've got about a week and a half, and then Congress is going to take a nice, long vacation.
We're joined by Trey Wallace, Outkick, this morning. Trey, with that being said, like there are a lot of records and history that the ACC and Big 12 have. Like I know Big 10 and SEC is kind of leading the way, but what is the future, Trey, in this Protect Sports Act for the ACC, for the Big 12, and everybody else in between? Like we're only talking about the Big 2. What have they come together to discuss what their future pathway is?
Yeah, I think so when you look at it. And look, I'm a small town guy. Like I'm a South Alabama Jaguar, so I look at my program, my alma mater, and I'm like, man, we are in trouble. Like we can't keep up with this. What does the future look like for us? And you're right. Around the country, there are teams. Like look at yesterday, for example. Like, and I'm not trying to make this a big deal, but a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, the Big 12 announced a sponsorship deal, for a patch that was essentially $20 million for the whole conference. Well, then Ohio State and Notre Dame finally announced their deals, and they're getting paid around $17 million each. And so it just goes to show you the disparity in college athletics right now, which, look, I'm not blaming anybody. Like Ohio State and Notre Dame deserve that. They've earned that. Their brand recognition is there. I get it. But you look at schools across the country that maybe aren't in that tier, and guys, college football won't survive without those type of schools. And I'm not saying they wouldn't be around. I'm not saying the MTSUs wouldn't be around and whatnot. But what I am saying is that it just doesn't look good or feel good if you've got all these top teams in the sport, and there's no quote-unquote Cinderella. And then, mind you, it is the lifeblood of college football for teams not in the SEC and the Big Ten, and I mean this in a nice way, to be relevant and to still have these programs. And, so it was never going to get to a point where the SEC is just going to play the SEC and the Big Ten just going to play the Big Ten. I love folks wanted to go with that breakaway conversation, but it really wasn't going to be like that. It was going to be more so, hey, look, we'll just set our own rules, we'll govern ourselves, and we'll move forward from that standpoint. But I think there's a lot of worried folks out there outside of SEC and Big Ten country, which I guess Big Ten goes all the way to California and Washington, so whatever. But what I am saying is that there's nervousness about what the sport looks like in 5, 6, 7 years, and I can't say that I blame them.
Man, Trey, this is, I guess, the Protect Sports Act will probably simplify this process. Contracts, right? You got Ole Miss right now suing LSU players, Prince Will, Amumiel, and also, is it Devin Harper, an offensive tackle.
Yep.
These prices are $550,000 for Amumiel and $400,000 for an offensive tackle. I get the breach of contract. I guess twofold for me. One, does this ruin the coaches' schools' relationships, and do they care? And the other part is, how often is this happening as well, where guys have to pay back, or schools are having to pay back monies already paid out by previous universities? Is this more popular than we know?
So I'll start with the second question first, because I think that is an interesting one as well. So this happens a lot, guys. Like this happens behind the scenes a good amount of time. When Brendan Sorsby's a good example of like another lawsuit that's going on. Cincinnati sued Brendan Sorsby because they say that he owed them $1 million. I'll give you an example. DJ Lagway left Florida for Baylor. There were financials tied to that contract that DJ Lagway, not in a bad way or anything, but owed Florida. Okay, well, he set up a way for that to be paid, all right? And I'm not trying to, just bring out DJ Lagway. I'm just trying to give an example here that this does happen a lot. And usually, if the players are good enough, the school that gets those players through the transfer portal will maybe cut a percentage of it, take care of a percentage of it. Like if it's a large chunk of money, they would take that off the top and then pay them the rest of whatever. So if Prince Well signed a $1.5 million deal, LSU would, I'm not saying this has happened because it did not happen. LSU would say, okay, look, we'll take care of the 500, you get the $1 million type of deal. That's what happens across the country at these schools. Now, here's where it gets interesting is that these athletes are testing their old schools. They are saying, okay, cool, I'm not going to pay you. Let's see if you sue me. How far do you want this to go? And that's the philosophy right now, and not from all of them. I don't want to group all the agents out there and whatnot either, because that's not fair. Mm-hmm. But there is a small minority of agents that'll be like, well, all right, let's see what they do. We're not going to pay them $500K. They got to admit that it was pay for play. They got to admit that it was this, and this, and outside of just NIL. The difference here is with these two, and I do give credit to Ole Miss for putting this in the timeline, which we could have, the public doesn't have access to all the court records, so I understand why they put it in the timeline. These players signed contracts with the school essentially during like the CFP run, and then they were like, okay, we're out. We're going to LSU. We know what our buyout is, but we're not going to pay it. And it was interesting to me that they did put in there that, hey, look, we reached out to LSU and they just weren't down to pay it. It's not their obligation. So somewhere there was a breakdown of communication between two players that are currently in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and what was going to happen with that buyout. So to me, it is fascinating because this does happen a lot. You just don't hear about it, meaning it's not. Usually they're handled, and if right. not, you go down this road where you got to sue them. And to get to the other point, just real quick, is the coaching coaches try to stay away from this as much as possible. Like, they got enough going on. Like, they're not, the university or the third-party collective or the NIL reps at each school will usually handle buyout clauses and whatnot at other schools, and a lot of times they're negotiated down a little bit. So say if you owed 500, okay, well, instead of fighting this thing and litigating it and whatnot, let's just meet at 250 and call it a day. So, Ole Miss told them they were going to do this. Like, Keith Carter came out 3 weeks ago and said, hey, we're going to, if we got to sue, we'll sue. We want our money. And I can't say I blame them. Like, it's in the contract, so that's where we're at. But all it did was to say, hey, give me some of that lighter fluid over there. Let's pour that on that massive bonfire because Kiffin's coming back September 19th.
Week 3.
That's right.
Week 3.
Right?
And the next time we do a college football segment, hopefully it can be about the football. I said that last time, and here we are still doing Protect the College Sports Act. But Trey Wallace is crushing it all over every detail of this on the business side, on the football side. Trey, great stuff for Media Days. Enjoyed following along on your social media. Hope to do it again soon and talk some ball. Appreciate you as always.
Appreciate it, Trey.
Guys, I look forward to it. Enjoyed Titans camp, and I promise you next time I come on, we just talking college football, guys.
I love it.
Nah, I like the business side. I'm going to be real with you.
I love it.
Imagine being 19 having to pay $1 million back.
Crazy. It's crazy. Thank you, Trey. Appreciate
Thanks, Trey.
you. All right. Trey Wallace with us here this morning on Ramon and Will. There's so many details there, and he is so on top of it as much as anybody covering it right now. And better him than me.
Trey gave out, fictional numbers for clarity of what he could pay back, but Ole Miss is really suing Prince Mamiele for $950,000. So I would say this twofold. One, good luck, my brother, okay? But the other side is of this NIL era, like fans, like these young fellas are getting broke off. And if you got a team that you have a player on that you love that team, this is what the opposing team in the SEC or the Big 12 or in the Big 10 is paying your favorite player to come to their school. Like, imagine if he got $950,000 from Ole Miss. What did LSU give him to come down there? So what a business model, man. Goodness gracious.
Ridiculous. It is ridiculous. 615-737-1045 is our number. Another player has a pectoral issue. Going to start the training camp time of year on the PUP list at a major contender. We'll hit that headline and catch you up on the news around the league before Rhett Bryan joins us at 9 o'clock as we broadcast live from Titans training camp for the Vanderbilt Health Football Center. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Ramon and Will, 104.5 The Zone. See, this is the unofficial official song of the Odyssey.
Wow.
As we wrap up hour number 3. Ramon and Will, 104.5, this is live from Titans Training Camp. You've never heard this?
No. The chat also asks us not to spoil the movie, too, by the way.
Yeah, it's 500 years old. You're going to be all right.
Yeah, but we got to read more.
Somebody get these
society.
beggars out of here.
Shout out to Travis Scott.
That, I do
cameo.
think, if you've not seen it, first of all, you need to go see it. Even if it's not an IMAX, just go see the movie. I've heard our film and football ball knower, Stoney Keeley, said the other day on Twitter, he said the Dolby audio way of watching it, different experience than getting the full screen, but still an elite viewing experience of the Odyssey.
It is. We watched
doing the Dolby audio.
Oh, really?
experience.
He watched the Dolby?
Yeah.
We did the IMAX experience, but we sat close. I'd much rather have been back further.
So you just did regular IMAX?
Yeah, regular IMAX.
That's what we did too.
And it was phenomenal.
Oh.
The sound, the way the speakers were, the vibration of the stage. Like, it was at one point where I guess they were just about to go into battle or whatever, and like you just felt the entire theater just.
You see the people who've been watching it in 4DX.
Yeah, getting drenched.
Because if you watch a movie in 4D, like you're getting sprayed with water. And so there are actually a lot of people who didn't show up to work the day after because they didn't make it off the ship with Odysseus. Because they watched the Odyssey in 4D. Spoiler alert. Again, 500-year-old story. I'm not going to apologize for that part. We won't get into the details of how they did the movie and the specific parts of it. But, I mean, like, I don't have really much sympathy if you are needing me to not spoil the story of Homer and the Odyssey for you.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm also trying to, I'm answering in real time on air. I'm trying to do F words, football and other F words with Zach and Stoney. And I'm explaining to Stoney right now. It's like, yeah, but I'm trying to find a time in the evening. I'm like,
does he want to come to beach freshman high school football practice? Y'all could do a remote. They could do. They would probably love that.
They would crush it.
You do film review on the Titans for 30 minutes, and then they do a film review of your freshman football team at beach for 10 minutes at the end of it. The kids would love it.
They would love it.
They'd be wearing their right kind of pants. They would have their cleats. They wouldn't forget their shoes at home. They'd be ready to go knowing that Zach and Stoney were out there
on the warm up stretch line at the very beginning. No stragglers,
that's
man. Right. They're off, and then also Zach lives off in my area too. I think in Sumner County, Goodlettsville or whatever. So it's right there. I
like it.
This time of the year, finding downtime for me is non-existent. It's non-existent. Like last night, I left the show and I was in West Tennessee all day long.
When can we talk about what you were doing yesterday?
We can talk about it now a little bit, I guess.
Are you sure?
Well, let's hold off. I'll wait.
The people that were with you are probably
no, they're still back there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They're still in West Tennessee.
There's some cool stuff Ramon was working on in Ripley, Tennessee yesterday.
It was, man. It was real cool stuff. Good team of folks around me yesterday that you'll see this content come out very close in what I do here.
Very nice.
It's a lot of content. I've never recorded so much in my life.
Okay.
I'll put it this way also. I'll give just a little bit of it. So my background from a small town, and what's crazy, they recognize how small of a town I'm from. Like, they were just like, okay, we get it now. Like, I'm from a small town. So we go out to where my old house used to be. And I say used to be because my sophomore year in school, we all go through stuff, trials and tribulations, right? And we ended up getting our trailer repossessed. We did, like my home got snatched out of the ground and they took it away. Lack of paying bills, whatever the case may have been, family issues and stuff like that. So my mom ended up moving to Covington where we did a lot of the the film and stuff yesterday as well. Mm-hmm. But we went back to where I grew up at in Henning, Tennessee, where now a cotton field is at. Because around us, it's cornfield in front, cotton or soybean over there, etc. All the crops, right? But the spot where our trailer used to be at, is still a bare spot there. Like, there's cotton all around it. There's like one or two plants in the middle of it.
Sure, right.
But the footprint of our home is still there. And that was my first time actually seeing it like that.
That's amazing.
It was, a happy, sad moment, like showing you where I come from, but where I'm at right now. So it was real cool. They got a lot of great content. So to the point of my schedule, I left the show, drove to West Tennessee, get there, 11 o'clock, shot all the way into 9 o'clock, finished at my high school. We were content all day long. Then I drive back last night. I got home at 11:57, took a shower, got in the bed, back up at 5. Now we got training camp. I'm going to go home, try to find a nap. And then
Yeah.
I got practice again at 5 to 10.
Goodness.
So, Stoney, I'm not ignoring y'all. I just will have to find the time.
We have some breaking Vols news that just dropped.
Please be good.
Via Adam Sparks of the Tennessean. It is not good news. The NCAA has suspended Tennessee linebacker Arion Carter 2 games for a $427 flight, which he repaid during the NFL pre-draft process. Josh Heupel protesting, saying, quote, "Our team stands behind AC." An exclusive story courtesy of the Knoxville News-Sentinel and Adam Sparks. Arion Carter will have to sit out against Furman and Georgia Tech.
Hold up. Stop. Who gave this suspension? What's the 4 letters?
The NCAA.
See, this is the problem.
Lawyers are standing by,
This is the problem.
I'm sure.
This is the problem. We're talking about a school suing 2 players for over 6 figures, close to $1 million. But a 400 and what flight
$427 flight
gets you
that he repaid.
under $500 of benefits, gets you 2 suspended games. See,
This is very,
This is the
very, very stupid is what this is.
this is the problem.
And Tennessee should do what everyone else does when the NCAA does stupid things
Ignore
and
'em.
sue the crap out of them.
Ignore them.
Because they lose consistently when you sue the crap out of them and scare them. Because these are not intelligent people doing intelligent things.
Just so you know, if this was Vanderbilt or Kentucky or Alabama,
We would
still
be
feel
saying the exact same thing. This is as dumb as it possibly gets for a player who had his agent pay for a $427 flight to an NFL pre-draft training facility. He withdrew from the NFL draft process because he was injured and says he, again, repaid his agent for the cost of the flight, but that does not satisfy the NCAA, who is charging him with a level 3 violation.
brother. I would give it. Go ahead.
So apparently the NCAA initially gave Arion Carter a 3-game suspension, but it was reduced to 2 after Tennessee appealed the decision. So it does not sound like there is any sort of appeals process that's going to happen. The appeal already happened. So, first of all, level 3 violations happen at schools all the time. And you never see a player suspended for a level 3 violation like this. And Adam Sparks writes that in the Knoxville News-Sentinel. He says, the NCAA found he committed a level 3 violation, a general term that the NCAA rulebook calls a basic breach of conduct. Level 3 violations are common and routinely reported by athletic departments at every school. They often result in minor penalties. Carter's multi-game suspension is among the harshest in that level of infraction. They are hitting Arion Carter as hard as they can with the rulebook because he had a $400 flight to a pre-draft meeting that he paid back that was given to him.
With what I expect his NIL is, that's a drop in the bucket for him. And the NCAA is treating this like, so if that's the case, then what are they going to do about like something like really illegal, like speed racing they have at any campus, right? That's passing out Hellcats. This, like, let's talk about legal stuff that players are still playing from. I don't even want to say nothing dumb on air right now. This is just dumb by them. Like, I'm beyond.
It's extremely stupid.
This is
extremely stupid.
And these people got college degrees. Some of these people in the NCAA are lawyers, I'm sure, have been educated undergrad, postgrad, and also probably got doctorates as well. And this is the smartest thing that you choose to do when a guy already paid it back. I used to be like, man, give the NCAA a break. No, screw the NCAA.
According to UT's internal document, Arion Carter committed the violation during the month when he molded his football future, Adam Sparks says, the Knoxville News-Sentinel. So here's the timeline. On December 12th, Arion Carter announced he had declared for the 2026 NFL Draft following his junior season. He hired a sports agent who paid for his flight so he could travel to the site of a pre-draft training facility. On January 5th, Arion Carter began workouts, but he immediately felt pain and swelling in his previously injured foot. The medical staff treated the injury, but the pain persisted. He underwent an MRI, and the medical staff advised him to stop training and receive corrective care, including minor surgery. At that point, 11 days later on January 16th, Arion Carter withdrew from the draft so he could return to Tennessee, recover from the injury, graduate in August, and play his senior season for the Vols. On January 19th, 2 weeks after this injury was sustained, he terminated his contract with the sports agent. Carter was initially declared ineligible pending an investigation, according to UT, because he accepted a material benefit from a sports agent during what the NCAA calls a test the waters phase in preparation for the NFL draft. In December, the NCAA provided guidance and a memo, including a clarification saying you, your family, or your friends are not permitted to receive any benefits from an agent, including money, transportation, dinner, clothes, cell phones, jewelry, etc. Tennessee argued that Arion Carter acted in good faith, but an injury requiring surgery altered his plans. Where's the common sense?
We lost it.
Where in the world is common sense here?
We lost it.
A $400 flight when you've got players literally on social media parading their AMG Mercedes and their Lamborghinis. Carson Beck's got a damn private jet deal as the quarterback at Miami, and his ex-girlfriend and his Lamborghinis and all this stuff is playing out real time. And we're talking about a $400 flight? Really? That's what we're dealing with here? NCAA? Are you kidding me with this? Are you kidding me with this?
It's dumb.
Ridiculous.
But when is the dumbest thing in sports, Bert?
Today.
It's today?
Well, there you go.
Can I call in? I can come on. No, I'll be with you.
That is insane to me.
That's got to be the dumbest thing in sports.
Totally insane to me. Yeah.
That's got to be the dumbest thing in sports.
You suck. So Josh Heupel has released a statement. We can do that. Let's go do that right now. As we got Rhett Bryan going to join us here to talk about Titans training camp in a minute. Arion Carter represents everything that is right about college athletics, dedicating all 4 years of his career to the University of Tennessee. His high character, loyalty, and leadership within our program are unmatched. Last December, Arion declared for the 2026 NFL Draft. Again, this is Josh Heupel's official statement on Arion Carter's 2-game suspension. He signed with an agent and accepted a $427.48 flight, which Josh is being extra petty there, saying how many cents the flight was as well, to begin the pre-draft process. He withdrew from the draft prior to the deadline due to a medical procedure and decided in his best interest to return to Tennessee. Last January, in good faith, he disengaged from the agent in terms of the NFL and paid back the flight in full. We disagree with the NCAA's ruling on punishing Arion with a multi-game suspension. Arion made the right decision for his future health and well-being. He will proudly graduate from Tennessee in public health with Dean's List honors in August. Our team stands behind AC and his family, and we can't wait to be on the field with him during training camp next week.
You know the only thing I'm mad at? That the agent only paid for a basic flight right there. At least give him a first-class flight or something like that. Unless that was a nice one-way or Southwest. Extra seat, extra leg room also plays a part in this too.
Wow.
This is where's the Protect College Sports Act at? Like, can we put that in there as well?
Sue the crap out of him. Enjoy. Billable hours undefeated in college football. Sue the absolute crap out of him, Tennessee. That's a big loss, too, against Georgia Tech to not have Arion Carter.
Against Tech.
We're talking about a major, major part of this Tennessee defense. Sue the crap out of them. And, Justin, you can clip that we can use for the future as well when something like this happens
Absolutely.
again. 615-737-1045. Rhett Bryan joins us. We'll all take a deep breath coming up next.
Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Breaking Tennessee Vols news just moments ago. The NCAA has suspended Tennessee linebacker Arion Carter 2 games for a $427 flight his agent paid for to an NFL pre-draft training facility. Per Adam Sparks of the Knoxville News Sentinel, Carter repaid his agent for the flight, but he will be suspended week 1 against Furman and week 2 against Georgia Tech. Titans training camp officially is upon us as day 1 of camp is today. Head coach Robert Saleh speaks to the media coming up later this hour at 9:45. Then practice begins at 10:15. In Titans news yesterday, safety Amani Hooker was activated off the PUP list and will practice. Meanwhile, right tackle J.C. Latham remains on the PUP list with a pectoral strain. NFL news this morning, Buccaneers beat reporter Rick Stroud reports that 2-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle Vita Vea is at Buck camp this morning, but he's not practicing. Vea is a hold-in after requesting a trade on Monday. And in Atlanta, with quarterback Tua Tagovailoa dealing with a tight back and Michael Penix Jr. still not practicing due to a knee injury, the Falcons are signing veteran quarterback Cooper Rush, per ESPN's Adam Schefter. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into the fourth and final hour of the show. Fourth quarter, training camp practice starting in an hour. Who's got it better than us? Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Robert Walsh, Joseph Bonanno, Justin Hawkins back at our 104.5 The Zone studios. Did a great job sorting through all that news because there are a ton of headlines right now. And then the suspension of Arion Carter added to it. Rhett Bryan joining us.
Yes.
Here from the table. I'm choked up about
wow. Come on.
about
I
practice.
got you.
You good?
I got you.
Thank you.
I got you.
Thank you. How we doing? Good morning.
It is, I've been telling people in the building, it's the first day of school. Only this is the school that I love. I never cared about school when I was a kid.
But if you're a kid and you listen to him, you do care about school.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yes.
Don't do what I did.
Do what he did.
Do not do what I
There
did.
it is.
Ever.
There it is.
No.
But-
Apply yourself. Listen to your teachers. We do this. I do it with T-RAC in schools all the time throughout schools in the mid-state and the mid-south about paying attention to your teachers and listening to what they have to say and conducting yourself accordingly on the campus of school. Don't do what I did. But because if I'd applied myself, I'd probably done much better in school.
You
than
might
what I
work
did.
for the NCAA then if you did.
Oh
No.
no, I don't want to do that.
Absolutely not.
No, I'm right here where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah,
No,
you are.
it is good to be back at Vanderbilt Health Football Center, and Field 1 has been redone just like they did Field 2 and Field 3 in previous years with all the technology and the latest irrigations, and it's all pretty and mowed and striped up and just it's football time. It's unbelievable.
Best time of year?
The number of different processes they did this morning, Will, before we got here. How many different techniques?
I have not seen so much work done on grass.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like mower, and then another thing coming around, and then like another one, and then they're
Terry
like
Porch and his crew. Terry Porch, shout out to him.
Shout out to
Has
Terry.
been doing this for a long time. Like he's the main guy who's been doing it since the Titans came here.
But it's so necessary.
And yeah, it is. I
looks
mean,
amazing.
listen, and you talk about somebody serious about his work now. Those dudes,
Serious.
that grounds keep and all that, they're not playing, man.
it's a hard part of the country to grow good grass in too, right? Like with our the Cumberland River Basin that we're in, and the
That's
weather and the
part of it.
humidity. And
Now, let me say this though: with the El Nino pattern
are
that
you
we've
laughing at?
had, what is it?
It's a terrible place. California's an awesome place to grow good grass.
okay, all right. Listen,
Oh, I see where you're
Listen.
going now. That went over my head. I'm sorry.
no, I was not tracking on that
With
one.
the El Nino pattern we've had, I imagine it's probably been a little easier to keep things green like it's
Take it
supposed
up
to
a
be. And a lot of states have that legal now. But anyway, that's a different kind of grass.
Tennessee's not a good grass growing state unless it's Bermuda. Fescue does well here. Kentucky bluegrass.
Crabgrass.
Crabgrass.
Johnson crabgrass.
Look, the only thing I'm focused on that department is weeding out NFL players, and practice squad players, and non-NFL players. That's the only weeding we're doing here at Titans training camp.
That's a good point.
Now-
Let's be easy about weeding. All these guys.
Yes.
This is their
No, I know.
their dreams.
Let's go ahead and put that conversation up in smoke, man.
Yeah,
We're done.
this.
All right.
And there it
Goodness
is.
sakes.
Well, you put a nice rolling paper on it. Oh, I broke the big guy.
That got me. That got me.
Shot chaser.
Imagine the excitement and the nerves for a lot of these young guys that are going to come out of those double doors just down from where we are right now and to come out onto the practice field. I think the great thing about yesterday is knowing that, and as we kind of alluded to, hopefully this PUP denotations in this, the people that have been put on that list is temporary, and sure enough, Amani Hooker is now rolling. And sounds like J.C. Latham's in good shape, has a pectoral strain that he had back, been working through. So sounds like, Mike Borgonzi was very complimentary of how he looks and how he's, what's going on. And then the other thing that was a takeaway to me, obviously, Teresa Walker, going to retire after this season. She's done it all. Congratulations on that. But she asked the questions about the competitive nature and, world championship. And the first thing that Mike said is, Mike Borgonzi says, man, we're so far away. Like, and I think he meant season-wise it's just begun, but also just where they're doing, what they're up to, they're building. They know that this is a process. They're doing their due diligence and trying to do everything they can to make this thing work and do it right. And how all this plays out on these practice fields and joint practices is going to tell the story. From Robert Saleh's point of view, man, he has been fierce about the conditioning and the runway to get to right here and what they're about to do. And we ain't even got to padded practice. That's next week. But he basically said, if you haven't been taking the summer seriously, it's going to tell on you.
You're going to see it early.
It's going to tell on you.
That's one thing, too, like the way they're going about this practice. And Mike Borgonzi, who we had on earlier, Titans GM, he acknowledged the way he likes the way Coach Saleh has set up this training camp as well, 2 on, 1 off. And it's because when you're asking for maximum effort every single day, Rhett, you got to also manage the bodies. This is a long season.
Yeah, that was the kind of the newsy thing I feel like Mike Borgonzi told us, and the thing that was maybe new information to us on what this is going to be like. He said, when we put pads on, we are expecting these guys to give everything that they have for 2 practices, and then we'll give them a day to rest a little bit, and then you get the natural off day, and then you're going to start that cycle over again. And that's the way he said, I've never been around a camp like this, and it's going to be unique in the way that Robert Saleh sets it up, and all 32 teams are going to do this same process in 32 slightly different ways.
Yeah, he's wanting to put the calluses over the bruises.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what he's wanting you to build the thick skin that is required for a very long season and the physicality that is demanded of you.
And that's what this training camp is. That's one thing that Borgo said, too. It's just like this is a process of building up the team that you feel proud that when you get later in the season and you got to close out the game, you got 6 minutes left, and you're trying to walk that thing down to about 30 seconds or less. Like, this is where that starts to happen right now, Red. We'll see them do long drives. We'll see them have, hey, back it up. All of those, like, restarting plays and periods and stuff. Like, this is where it happens. And Borgonzi seems to be very hype about seeing that this year.
Yeah, that is the part that I am as most interested in as anything is just the structure of a Robert Saleh practice and what he is expecting and wants out of these guys. And the 2 on, 1 off, I can understand.
Yeah.
Clearly he's done that stuff before, and so he's got a sample size to work from and what works and what doesn't. I'm also thinking about here's the old head talking, going to 8:30 to 10:30 practice, and then again at 3:30 to 5:30 going on 6, and pads every day. And I know I know we got alumni out there listening. Dr. Dyson, Blaine Bishop. All the guys that live in town are going, oh, God, I've got flashbacks.
I got those.
It's much different than those days, and for good reason, because the conditioning is such a huge requirement of this. And so that just shows you how it's changed from when the Titans first got here to now. Because it used to be, back in the old days, they had, 6 preseason games, exhibition games, they called them. And, you came back to training camp to get in shape because the contractual situations, there wasn't, salary cap and all those things. You had jobs in the offseason, so you showed up to get into shape.
Yeah, you did.
Now you have to stay that way.
Yes, you better.
Speaking of contracts, real quick, before we get to a break and talk a little bit about the Titans defense on the other side, a report from Adam Schefter 4 minutes ago that 2 all-pro running backs are absent from training camps today. Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson are both not practicing as they continue conversations about potential long-term contracts.
Well, it's funny that you say that because there was a piece, The Athletic, and I forget who put that out there, but there was a piece on The Athletic yesterday about the top 10 guys that we'll be watching contractually. And those 2 were mentioned in that top 10. And then one of the other ones was big man in Philly who got paid yesterday, too.
Yeah, I was trying to make and see who. Well, there it is. That makes sense. Both of them are represented by Athletes First.
There you go.
Okay.
And look, Bijan, you can make a case for in this, but Jahmyr Gibbs, you doggone sure can.
Yeah, 100%.
You think about what he's. You think about what he's meant to the offense in that franchise since he's been drafted. Like, man, Coach Mack and I really liked him coming out of Alabama.
No doubt about
he was
it.
that dual threat running back hybrid that, he's one of those that at Bijan we loved coming out when he came out as well. But, those guys, but Jahmyr Gibbs, good Lord. Look, you can look at his numbers, man. He's got some numbers.
He does. And for clarity, too, Jahmyr Gibbs' agents are Todd France and Ryan Williams of Athlete First. Bijan Robinson's Nicole Lynn, who's a bulldog.
That's Jalen Hurts' agent.
Of Clutch Sports. So, yeah, they're about to go for it.
Mm-hmm. From Dalton, Georgia, Jahmyr Gibbs, right outside Chattanooga. I'm sure he's got great carpets.
The carpet capital of the world.
You and Mac knew it. I knew when he went to Alabama he had something. I didn't know he had all of this.
Oh, that 2022 game against Tennessee, he was unbelievable in that game.
The thing, just seeing, like, the athletic traits were all there.
They were.
But what he can do with the ball out of the backfield in his hands, and I'm not talking about a carry, I'm talking about swinging and,
yak.
Oh my gosh. Like, he's a special talent. He really is. And it's no surprise that both he and Bijan are absent.
Do you want to go first or last on the deal if you're either one of their agents?
Well, you're both going to get paid, so it just depends on, because if you ain't first, you're last, Ricky
right.
Bobby.
If you're last, you get more, maybe. You're right.
And we did congratulate Mike Borgonzi on getting the Jeffrey Simmons deal done before Jalen Carter yesterday, who I know injury is part of it and projectability, and he's going to be a really good player. He's only 25. He's making more than Jeffrey Simmons last year with 2 more sacks in his career than Jeff had just last season.
Yeah. Well,
it's crazy.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You drafted that young man, Jeffrey Lurie, and the Eagles drafted him, and so But here's the thing: Jeff set the market, or he reset the market, and then it got reset again. Look, Jeff. I guarantee you, Jeff's not complaining today.
No, definitely
as
not.
much as he loves this right here, he cannot wait to get right out here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rhett Bryan with us, the executive producer of Titans Radio, as we continue from the Vanderbilt Health Football Center ahead of practice number 1 here of Titans Training Camp 2026. Going to take a look at the defense, the top storylines on Robert Saleh's defense for his first training camp as the head coach of the Titans after this.
When you start noticing cracks in the walls, uneven floors, or driveways sinking and separating, y'all, it's more than a home issue. It's a peace of mind issue. That's why who you choose for foundation repair and concrete leveling, it really matters. I trust United Structural System because they've been doing this the right way since 1994 right here in Tennessee. USS, they don't believe in those quick fixes or even the scare tactics. They take the time to inspect, explain what's happening, and walk you through real proven solutions that are built to last. Whether your home needs foundation stabilization, crawl space repair, or concrete leveling for sinking sidewalks, patios, or driveways, USS uses engineered systems designed for long-term performance and not those temporary patches. And there's a payoff in this too. Maybe you love your house and don't want to move because the housing market is so high and you want that cracked driveway or that settling foundation to be lifted up. USS is the company to do it, man. They got many options for you to pay it off as well. You get 10% discount if you pay in full. You can fix now, pay later with 18 months, no payment, no interest, or choose 36 months, no interest with low payment options for qualified buyers. Again, they're dependable, they're trustworthy, they're USS. So give them a call or reach out to them at USSTN.com.
Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone, broadcasting live from Titans training camp as practice number 1 will be happening in just under an hour. The executive producer of Titans Radio, Rhett Bryan, is here. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, our entire crew from the Vanderbilt Health Football Center. Rhett, I am excited to see the Robert Saleh defense, the Gus Bradley defense, the Tennessee Titan defense.
Indeed.
Go up against Cam Ward today. Cam, obviously a big point of discussion. Offensive line, a big point of discussion. But this defense has a chance to be pretty good this season if the right guys stay healthy and perform well.
Well, here's the thing. And you've got literal, tangible numbers that you're trying to move away from in what you had in 2025. And the biggest one is allowing 28 points per game. And I think that was 30th in the league out of the 32.
That's one way.
Gotta move that. And how many times have you heard head coach Robert Saleh talk about creating and giving the football back to Cam Ward in the offense? The turnovers are such a huge part of this. And that turnover ratio, I mean, for the total for everybody involved was -5, and that was near the bottom of the league as well. So there's the other part of it. But yes, with what they have done on paper in the draft that they have had and in the free agents that they have acquired, I do feel better about this. And we're going to see. Like, I want to see – because remember, and here's the other part from yesterday's presser between Mike Bergonzi and Robert Saleh is these are the acclimation days.
Yeah, they are. These
are the acclimation days. And there's a man right there coming out here barefoot that's acclimating right now. His name's Tajay Spears, number 2.
Numero uno every day.
Numero uno. So he's dialed in, locked in. But so just seeing what all this looks like, but they've improved, in my opinion, throughout the 3 levels of this defense.
Yes.
And we can start in any order you want. I don't really have like a top 5 of the stories I'm watching, but I certainly want to see what this new secondary looks like. I think if we're going to start in a place that needed some attention, that's where I would start.
I agree.
Because the front is going to be the front, and the front, that's the good stuff. We'll maybe finish with that.
Sure. Yeah, no doubt.
But when you add Cordell Flott, who by so many accounts in the New York market was one of their better, maybe their best corner.
But they liked him up there.
They really did.
Yeah.
They really did. And just, and he is a more slight corner. Like he's 6'2", 175. But he's that wiry kind of the deal. And so there is the length and the height that you're looking for at a corner spot. And then obviously we know Alontae Taylor. That move was the one that everyone here in the Volunteer State wanted to say, please, let's do this because of the obvious reasons, and not just the Volunteers as the VFL, but the pride of Coffee County down the road.
That's right.
In Manchester, and how he started to make his mark there, and just and another one, he's 6'1", 199, so there's 2 bigger corners. It's not exactly Seattle Seahawks.
No.
Because they like 6'4" guys or whatever. But it's bigger than what they've had in a while with 2 gentlemen who have lots of experience. And then when you think about the Marcus Harris of it all, who's going into year 2, the former Cal draft pick from 2025, who had a lot of playing time, like a lot of his fellow draftees in the 2025 Titans draft class, working in the nickel part of this. And then, as we mentioned earlier in the hour, the great news is you're looking in that secondary is that Amani Hooker is off the PUP and will be out here ready to roll today. Yeah. So it'll be he and Tony Adams that they brought in, who knows this Robert Saleh defense from his time with the Jets. And then, obviously, Kevin Winston Jr., who you guys know, I think that guy can be a real dude.
Yeah. Buy stock now.
He just needs to be available and stay available at 6'2", 213. I've said it so many times. I'm sure the people listening to the Zone this morning are like, Rhett, he's going to say it again. Here he goes. But if he wasn't hurt his last year at State College, he's not at pick 82 in round. There's no way.
Question.
Yeah. He's not pick 82. He's higher than that. And so he's the guy that may be the X factor in all of this.
I just wanted to add it to that because, again, I feel like we talked about Kevin Winston a good bit, and we know what he's capable of. But a guy that's been here, Marcus Harris, like you look at the new guys and you got to kind of say to him, like, his ability to raise his floor with how they've raised the free agents and veterans that they've brought in this year is going to be crucial for him. A 6th-round draft pick, right, that's been around and understand what this team is demanding and kind of gone through it with him, Rhett. I'm looking forward to see how he responds to it because it's easy for a guy who's a later draft pick to get lost when you got Christmas and free agency March, April, and you got to find a way to fight. I'm interested to see what his storyline is going to be this training camp, man.
You're right, and Marcus is a very, very bright, very smart young man, and I guarantee is dialed in,
no doubt,
to take in what he can take in from the Cordell Flotts and the Alante Taylors, the vets that have been brought in from other programs in this, and he has had that tutelage from Amani Hooker,
Absolutely.
who is the old head, as you would say, in this group. And that's the other part of this. What the great thing that this could be for the secondary is that Amani Hooker can go back to doing Amani Hooker things. You saw him try to do too much because there was such a turnover, I should say, in the personnel within the third unit of that. Yeah, and he would admit to you, to his own fault, that he was trying to get guys, where they needed to be and looks they saw and all of those things. Now he can go back to being the excellent player that he has been for the Tennessee Titans, which is a huge potential caveat for this defense.
Man, you treated, when you mentioned that, you got one job. Like, I like to just only do my job. I don't want to do your job and his job and also worry about the guy to my left as well. So that's what Amani's trying to get back to.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And then let's just move on to the next thing, and that's the next level of this with the linebacking core.
It's going to be really interesting to see how Anthony Hill's first day looks and first week's look at camp.
And we know Robert Saleh runs a base 4-3. There'll be times they'll go to a 4-2-5. So that will be interesting to see what personnel is in the second level when that happens. But you figure Cody Barton and Cedric Gray are in that 2 of the 3 conversation. Anthony Hill Jr., who was I was very excited to see that pick in night 2 of the NFL draft. And still, I think, can fill into an NFL body. Like he could. I can't wait to see what he looks like after a year in this building under the proper tutelage with the program and the strength and conditioning. Like, he could be just a rocked up animal. And just seeing what he's capable of, because I got to see some of that in college, and I that excites me. And then you start thinking about the Dorian Mausi of it all, the James Williams of it all, who is, still playing a lot of special teams and has moved to that second level a year ago. And then Mahmoud Diabate they bring in, who has been kind of a hybrid flex player like the James Williams profile. And, just who all they've got 9 linebackers in that. How many do they keep? What does that look like? But I think that second level is only going to get better with Cedric Gray kind of being the bell cow, for lack of a better term, in that. And Anthony Hill Jr. has a chance to be just a tackling machine like him as well.
I think it's interesting, too, Rhett, just what they ask him to do at the beginning of his NFL career versus the end of this first season. Is Anthony Hill a sub-package linebacker for coverage situations to start? And when or if does he start creeping into being more of a first and second down player? And Cody Barton's ability to adjust to a new system again for a second straight season here in Tennessee being noteworthy as well, and he doesn't want to give that spot up.
And Cody going to learning another defense.
Yeah, right.
And by his own admission, had his moments where he was, learning last year. Now, totally different deal. But I'll underline what you're saying on the Anthony Hill Jr. part of it. I'm excited at the prospect of what it could be in certain packages with him, because let's not forget his first part of his tenure at Texas, he was coming as a blitzer and was getting some quarterback sack numbers. He has that ability to do that. So with the front four we're about to mention, that could be something down the road we could see, is seeing number 53 And that's the other part is he's got to represent that number well because Keith Bullock ain't no joke, man.
Oh, my goodness.
He does.
So
It's going to take some getting used to seeing somebody else with their name above 50.
yes. And then, that leads us to the front four of this. And I like Jermaine Johnson with, 6'5", 254, and just incredible length and reach. And what I like about that is all of those guys have length and reach to be able to match hands with a quarterback. If they can't get there, they can disrupt. And you saw a little bit of that from Jermaine in these OTAs and certainly in the mini camp part of this. And then John Franklin Myers, a seasoned vet that knows what to do, just like Jermaine Johnson, because they've been in these defenses before. And then the Jeffrey Simmons of it all. And Keldrick Falk being the guy they traded back into the bottom of the first round, and how big and long he is. They clearly have a type.
They do.
And then we're talking about putting in the Jalen Harrells of it all, who is a second-year man now, and a third-year man, I should say, and the Truman Jones and the Jacob Martin of it all. And let's not forget about Femi Olabodejio. Or Olawafemi, I should say.
Sure.
Got my Olas mixed
You
up.
did.
It's all right.
Just a little bit. We got it together.
What kind of impact do you guys think Keldrick Falk can have right away in this defense?
I'm looking for more of his his run stopping. When you look at that young man, he's bigger than you think. What is he, 270 if I'm not mistaken?
274.
274.
Yep.
He's long.
It doesn't look like it either.
And finding a rush plan in the NFL, I think is more difficult unless you're just a speed guy. You never really see guys pop out fast. Let's just use the Falcons, a guy we know, James Pierce Jr. didn't learn anything till the second half of his rookie year. So the expectations that you have as a young guy, basics. Basics is stopping the run. Can you hold the point and not get reached, not get beat, not get blocked by tight ends? Those are the things that you want to see him do. I think that's a perfect place to stop for a guy start with a guy like him.
Yeah, and just we're talking about the storylines of this defense. Just looking through the defensive side of this roster, Micah Robinson, who was flashing because there wasn't a lot of appearance by a Cordell Flott and an Alante Taylor in certain parts of the offseason program, and making the most of a lot of those reps after having some tug-of-war moments with Carnell Tate.
Yeah, he did.
And so, that's a young man that is hungry and looking for things. And, Kendall Brooks, who has been a good special teamer and, trying to add what he can add. Bishop Fitzgerald, the undrafted from Southern Cal, back in the safety spot.
Right.
And you'll start to see some of the men separate from the boys, because some of these cats have the special teams prowess. What did Robert Saleh say yesterday? Wow. That's what separates them right there.
It is.
Let's get our last break because Robert Saleh is about to address the media downstairs here at the Vanderbilt Health Football Center, which we will carry live for you here coming up in 5 minutes. So stay tuned. Hear from the head coach once again coming up next. Ramon Will, 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? What's happening, good people? Let me go on and tell you while you're walking into your weekend what you need to be looking for. That is a truck. Yeah, Mid-10 Ford, they got you covered. They're going to take care of you. All you got to do is slide in there and let them know, hey, man, Big Slay told me. And they will look out for you. Go in there and holler at my guys, Trey, Matt. They're going to be right there to help you walk through the process of going to get your truck. And guess what? It's nothing that's going to be pressure, no high pressure, just low pressure approach, no gimmicks, no pushy sales tactics. That's not what they're about. They're about getting the job done and getting you comfortable and understanding exactly what you're getting into. It's a one-stop shop. If you need service, Mid-10 Ford, they got you covered. They are the ones you need to be looking for. When it comes to the right vehicle, they got you covered. Even a body shop, service, financing, sales, they got it, all of that. All you got to do is go to 1319 Foster Avenue. Visit mid10fordtrucks.com.
A day at the spa, the perfect gift for birthdays, anniversaries, or any occasion. Lavish and luxurious, yet affordable. A grand gesture, yet simple for you. The gift card from A Moment's Peace. Give her the gift she won't buy herself. An escape, a bit of luxury. Something special that shows more than just words. A gift from A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa in Cool Springs across I-65 from Galleria Mall. Call 615-224-0770 or go online at amomentspeace.com anytime.
Ramon Will continues from the Vanderbilt Health Football Center, and right now to wrap up the show, we go to the podium where Robert Saleh addresses the media.
No contact, and the practices are going to be formatted the same, but come Monday when we put the pads on, the idea is that our volume continues to increase with every single practice, trying to maximize and build so that way we're ready for week one, along with building callus so we can survive a 17-week season. So, the idea is that our practices are going to be physical, they're going to be fast, there's going to be a lot of volume, and then even when we're not practicing, our lifts and the way we've designed those to complement our practices, they'll be heavy to make sure that we're not just maintaining our strength, but adding on and adding armor, if you will, to prepare ourselves. So it's a really well thought out plan, and I think everyone's done a really good job communicating and formulating this thing to do what's best for the players.
Guys are pretty familiar with the mindset of the defense, kind of straightforward. The diversity of coverage, how quickly do you get into that, and what does that do for Cam's growth?
We have I think our defense will pretty much be installed within 4 days. So once we get the pads, I think where Cam's growth for us going against our defense is going to be more third down, because we do get a little bit. We're much more creative on third down in terms of the different looks and the different pressure designs and the different coverages that we'll do. So for Cam, like I said, it's understanding the playbook, understanding his progression, understanding the reads, understanding what's being asked of him, and finding ways to bat 1,000 with regards to the decision making of the system.
And with regard to that, what does he need to do to be better under pressure, which was a struggle area for him in the last season?
That's like $1 million question for every quarterback. It's just part of that's understanding the protection system, understanding where his hot throws are, understanding where his outlets are, understanding where the pressure's coming from and how much time he has. Some quarterbacks, as a lot of experienced quarterbacks, they could see a safety coming from depth and then knows that he still has time and he has a hitch, so he can take time in the pocket rather than feeling rushed. So it's just going to be part of the maturation process, just getting reps and seeing all the different looks that he can see.
One of the things he's learned already is like how important quarterbacking is on third down. How you go through first and second, you get to third, that's where you make your money. What is your take on that?
Yeah, to me forever the quarterback metric is third down, red zone, 2 minute. Those are the three categories where the quarterback shines and pulls the team along, if you will. First and second down, you're trying to create explosive plays. You're running the ball. You've got play action pass. You've got the screen game. You've got all the RPOs. You got all the different things that you're going to try to do. But when it comes to third down and everyone knows you're about to throw, or 2 minute, you got to have it, or in the red zone where everything's sped up and the windows get a lot tighter. That's where the quarterback shines, and so that's part of the thing. A lot of the things that he's learning.
Yeah, he gathered some of the guys to work out down there in Miami. How do you like a quarterback, going and doing that, getting that chemistry and developing that?
You always want it. As much as those guys can communicate, if anything, the bonding part about it, the communicating, the trust. Trusting one another isn't just running routes on the football field. It's the constant communication off the field. It's understanding each other, understanding the human being. So anytime those guys get together, it's a good thing.
You preach fast and violent as a mantra, and it seems obvious that can be applicable to defense, but how can offense take that mindset?
It's the same thing. The way the O-line runs off the ball in the run game, the way the receivers transition out of the break, the way they catch the ball, get vertical, drop step, get vertical, and with the mindset to break tackles, the way the backs run one cut, get vertical, try to and run through people. You can play fast and violent, and like I've said, it's not just and I know when you think violence, it's not just hitting. It's how violently you get out of your break. It's how violently you cut. It's how violently you get off the ball. It's how violent you are in transition. And no different for the defense. It's how violent you are in your ball out break. You're attacking the near foot. It's a corner getting out of his break. There's a lot of violence in how you move, and a lot of violence in your feet, a lot of violence in your mindset, and then obviously the contact point adds a whole new level.
You're
Just talking about chemistry and trust, is there anything you look for specifically to tell you that has developed? Is there a way you can see that, or do you just kind of have to trust it's there?
You'll start to see it, like the timing and rhythm throws where you could just tell that the quarterback and the receiver are on the same page, where a receiver might have to deviate his route a little bit. You're getting a different coverage, and he might shave a little off the top of the route concept, and the quarterback is in tune with them. So you'll see it as camp progresses.
How much of these 4 days is kind of a review of the ramp up of what you did in OTAs versus what you talked about yesterday? You want to see more fast and loud guys feeling confident in what they're doing.
For sure, it's a little bit of both. We're reacclimating. I mean, 40 days. I mean, it is a long time. I mean, shoot, I have to go back over everything myself, and I've been coaching the same defense for a while, and so you're reacclimating everybody, but you hope that they pick it up faster within these 4 days, or 4 or 5 practices, so that way, come Monday, when pads come on and a new stimulus happens and it speeds up, it goes even faster. We're comfortable in the way we're communicating.
You'll find out in time, but first conditioning test, how did guys look first day back yesterday?
Everything was good. Everyone looked good, and again, we'll find out in time.
Last time we saw Jeffrey Simmons, he was getting acclimated on his own plan a little bit. How is he doing, and how important are these next couple weeks in terms of him stepping up?
He looks great, man. I was, not to talk about his body, the guy's yoked. I'd walk around with my shirt off all the time if I was him, but he's in great shape. The biggest adjustment for him is to go from, and it's an adjustment. You'll see it like a lot of guys, when they go from a read system to an attack system and they're an individual, you'll see a lot of guys fall on their face during individual, and that's natural. Like there's an adjustment, there's an acclimation that needs to happen for him. But he's so talented, he'll figure it out pretty quick.
Are there milestones that you're looking for from camp, or benchmarks throughout camp as you get closer and closer to those joint practices that are so crucial?
Just looking for his decision making. Just want to make sure that he's understanding the system the way he needs to understand it. He's making the decisions he needs to make, and then from a understanding the opposite side of the ball, he's starting to understand defensive structure.
Are Swatman and Volson first in line to start?
Mm-hmm.
As far as Ridley, obviously he won't go today, but what have your impressions been in these last couple of months?
He can still move, man. I was, he had some run towards the end of OTAs and minicamp. Awesome dude to talk to, and he's still got a lot of juice in his legs. So I'm excited to get him out here with the young kids, and there's a really cool combination in that room with a lot of youth, and then obviously there's some veterans in there that can escort those guys along.
How cautious do you have to be with him now that he's in his 30s, especially in that position?
For sure, all the 30-plus-year-olds will be mindful in making sure that they're acclimating the way they need to, callousing the way they need to, but also preparing them so they can last the 17-game season.
Last one, Nick. You were kind of at the center of a lot of the conversations about player safety and turf stuff in New York and in San Francisco. Now that it's kind of reigniting, is there something you've learned or that you've taken away from all of the injury discussions you kind of had to be centered around that you kind of take to this job?
At the end of the day, we're told where to play, and it doesn't matter, if that makes sense. I don't care the stadium, the turf, the weather, it doesn't matter. It's not changing. It is what it is, and you either embrace it or you complain about it. And we're the mindset that we'll play any place, anytime, anywhere, any turf.
You're impressed by the power of soccer players to get turf, to get grass?
Money talks. I'll see you guys.
All right, there is Robert Saleh addressing the media.
That's the head coach. If we have a game to play on Thursday on Mars, we're going to be there, and whatever service it is what it is.
It just is what it is.
Yeah.
Man.
All right, gentlemen, let's go watch some football practice.
Let's go do it.
Yes.
Training camp, practice number 1, happening imminently. The Buck Rising Show is next. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning.
Of Waka Flocka. Oh, let's do it. But remember, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always.
Always.
Hey, oh, let's do it.